Welcome, everybody, to MogTalk episode 225. Today is March 27th, 2021. And if you haven't seen MogTalk before, it's a show where we talk about everything from Chugbo Racing to Savage Rating. And today is going to be about physical range and its role in the game. Before we get too much further into the show, almost had a good intro there. Before I go too much further into the show, let's go ahead and introduce everyone that's on the guest list today. We'll start top of the list and go clockwise. I'll start Mr. Happy. Can you tell everybody who you are? Some people might not know you.
That's a terrible way to start. To start. I don't know why you would do this.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mr. Happy. I've played Dancer, all expansion, and Machinist also. And I will complain about Bard this show. So
perfect.
That's all you need to know. All right.
All right. Zeppe.
Hello, I'm Zeppe, and I've been playing physical ranged my entire life that I've been playing this game. So, I'm a very, experienced player. I don't know.
He plays Final Fantasy.
I'm a happy enjoyer, though.
Oh, okay. They know you. Never mind. I'm not going to make the dumb joke. Anyways. So, Ori, could you go next?
Hi, I'm Ori. I'm a healer main. I was a physical range main in Stormblood, and I cleared Chivo using a DDR pad on Machinist, I guess. So
that's why we got you.
That's why I'm here.
Oh, all right. And then Stal, if you don't mind.
Hi, I'm Stal. I'm a physical ranged main as well. Been playing since the end of Heavensward, and I mainly play Bard, sometimes Dancer, very rarely Machinist.
Okay. So we have an amazing cast of people here today that has played, all different points of views of physical range. I personally, just to let everybody know, I did. I've leveled Bard, Dancer. I got up to level 63 so far. Bard, I have up to like 71, and Machinist 72. So I have very baby-ish opinions on all of these roles. And so if I say something that seems out of place, I'm hoping you guys will crush me down. Stal, you heard
every time, Frosty. Every time.
Good. And so today's show is based on a lot of questions that we received over Twitter. Some of them may be stupid, and if they are, please let me know if they're stupid or not. But I am trusting Twitter to give us a good list of topics for this show. To start it off, though, I do want to talk about this because Dancer was one of the jobs of this most recent expansion. So that means you're probably not going to see another support role or, physical range role. And that's a whole discussion itself, too, for about at least probably 4 years. I don't think they're going to do one in this expansion after this one. I can't see it, but we never know. So now that you are kind of set in place with these three different jobs, do you all feel happy?
You did that on purpose. You were laughing before I even reacted to it. You did that on purpose.
I kind of did do it. Are you guys happy with the current state of the three jobs you have and what you have to work with for the next 2 to 4 years?
I don't think adding another job would fix the issues that we are facing. Like, we want the jobs that we play and enjoy for the time, right? We want them to become better. We don't want a new one, right? Like, that's what we want.
Okay.
I don't think adding a new one would fix anything. It would just probably rather cause more issues.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they fix things for healers, right?
Ori?
Yeah. Well, about physical ranged, I like the role better in Stormblood when there was less jobs. So
Yeah.
I don't know if adding jobs even helps at all. Yeah.
Same.
So you were okay with just a Bard and a Machinist?
I mean, like the role skills were like way better back then, and you had a lot. I felt like the difference between Bard and Machinist was more interesting back then too, and now I feel like they're all too samey and don't bring much except their own variation of tactician.
Okay. I mean, Mike, how do you feel?
I really liked Stormblood Bard, and it's weird how giving it one more ability, taking away crit, and not giving it Bloodletter charges completely ruined it for me. I don't know how they accomplished that, but they did. And I like Machinist better now. And I mean, Dancer, I fell in love with Dancer instantly. Like, I don't know what about it other than improv. I love it. So,
Okay.
It's having played it all expansion, I'm still kind of lukewarm. There's something wrong with every job, like a major issue that went unresolved pretty much the whole expansion. And I feel like that's weird after seeing them kind of tackle those issues on other jobs, or at least attempt to in some cases in other roles. So I'm so sad. I feel like it can hopefully only get better.
Okay.
Here's my
Hopefully.
tinfoil opinion on that, what you just said, and I think they do that intentionally so that next expansion they can be like, hey guys, we've listened the past 2 years. Look at us, we fixed this one thing that you hate.
So,
You know?
Yeah.
They intentionally make issues for their jobs so they could say, hey guys, we hear your obvious issue. Like, it makes sense. You guys are very smart. Now we're fixing it because of your opinions.
What I mean is, for example, we've been asking for like bloodletter charges, like the moment Shadowbringers came out, or like, like other things that you wanted fixed for like a long time and they never done it. It's like, they're keeping that lukewarm so that they can do it in some expansions and like sell it,
Make it a feature.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the job action video. I guarantee you he uses 2 bloodletters back to back at the very
He
start.
did in 5.0. He did in the 5.0 trailer.
Really?
He did that. They did that. I checked it. They did that, and it didn't come. I was mad
I don't
as fuck.
remember that. It's funny. I do want to add in, Zeppe, you were on our show, what was it, 2 years ago after the expansion was released? Discussing range physical with us. I want to go ahead and ask this. Do you feel like between then and now, things have changed to make you like the role any better at all? Was there any slight increase?
If I remember back, like, obviously you have to, like, most of my opinions are still the same about, like, Bard and Dancer, but one thing that I changed in regards to my old opinion is Machinist. So I've done every Savage tier, I've done each one of them as a different job. I've done 5.0 as Bard, 5.2 as Dancer, and 5.4 as Machinist. After doing 5.4 as Machinist, I like the job a lot more. And I definitely advocate it a lot more now than I used to. It still has its issues and things that they should improve, but I like it a lot more now.
Okay. I do want to mention real quick, you're talking about this, Mike, about Dancer, and why you kind of liked it. I want to go back, because there was a specific set time in this game where I did main physical ranged.
Okay.
I did that. I played Machinist at the start of Heaven's Ward. And I
Brave.
played... Yeah, you know what? I loved it.
How did you in Heaven's Word end up playing only Machinist at the beginning and Paladin? How did you do this to yourself, this expansion?
That's the casual static life, you know? You feel whatever role you need to in order to keep going. And so I'll let you know. And by the way, my camera's a little bit crusty. Sorry about that, guys. It's just how this all works, and I don't feel like fixing it. But when Heaven's Ward came out, I was like, holy shit, there's a engineer type job coming out with robots and all this other stuff. I don't care. I'm playing this. Right? I was tanking before the expansion, and so I got into it, and I was like, no matter what, I'm playing it. And I held through all the way through, and I cleared A3S with Machinist, and I'm very proud of my work with that, right, on a very casual static. But that was just the appeal. It was just flashy, shiny, and new, and then when I played it, for some reason, it felt really good. And I know Bard was in a pretty bad place, because what they did is they made this really cool system, what I thought was cool, for Machinist, and then tried to make Bard a little bit like, hey, how do we make it kind of like what we just did? I guess we'll just throw some things in there, a little different. But I loved the whole like 50% chance, click on, react, and do all that other stuff. And so when I was playing Dancer the other day, I was like, I kind of like this, but it's kind of silly. It felt silly for some reason, because you press the button and you're like, well, what lights up next? Let me press that one. And it's just, that's the whole rotation, isn't it? Or am I just completely understanding it wrong?
It's all procs. If people didn't like Bard for procs, I mean, Dancer, you live and die by whether your dances crit and direct hit, or you get or you get procs. And it's hard to compare. I mean, going back to Machinist in Heaven's Word, I mean, I played it in 3.4 specifically.
Okay.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was a huge downgrade going to Stormblood for me.
Yeah, agree.
And as much as I really like this one, I just wanted to comment on that because even though I made fun of you for it, you just played it when it was at its weakest.
Yeah, it was weak, but I was like top tier weak. And that's what I love doing. I love being top tier weak. I played Paladin at the end of that expansion, so I know
you did.
About it. Yeah.
Yep. As for Dancer, I mean, yeah, that's what it is. I think Dancer resonates with me personally. Range physical as a role has always kind of been interesting to me because I like to really look at everything from the best angle I possibly can to try and take in where mistakes are being made or like where we should be standing for something. And Dancer is kind of hyper mobility, and I guess it's more proc based gameplay. It's easier to keep up with and still kind of almost play like a scout in a sense from the back. It's way simpler for me. And especially when I'm streaming, I can play Dancer and just read chat the whole time. It's like, I'm just like, yeah, mechanic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, that's.
I mean, you don't manage dots either, right? I mean, that doesn't really change. It's just like you press. It's so, for me, so it seems so like simplistic, but fun. It's fun.
You know you like Dancer the second that you literally stand in the exact wrong spot for a mechanic and you still get there safely and survive it, but somebody else dies to it. That's when you know you've made the right decision.
Okay.
If I may chime in on that point, that's pretty much exactly what Yoshida said in regards to the physical range. Or like he said that in regards to Bard when we went into 5.0, is that he wants to make the job feel casual and fun. Like you're running around, pressing your buttons, and everything just feels well, right? That like simplistic running around, feel good design is what he envisioned for Bard and for 5.0. If you consider that, I think they accomplished that. It's just over a long time, it doesn't feel very good.
Well, I'll tell you my experience with Bard so far. It's kind of goofy to me too, because you're just hitting one button over and over again, and just like you put two dots up, and then you're like 1 1 1 1 1 1. You're just waiting for some things to happen every once in a while. Stal, give me your opinion on Bard here, because I think you're completely valid in giving that opinion more than I am.
Very unpopular opinion. Bow Mage is the best rendition of Bard ever. 5.0, the Bard is... I mean, yeah, in that regard, if Yoshi P was going for that, they definitely hit the mark. And I think Bard, when you're playing it in the dungeon, I feel like it's more enjoyable in the dungeon than it is when you're raiding for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Do you like
also,
your AoEs
Apex
more?
I don't know. It just feels
like not having tonal AoEs as a dancer. It really is.
It's just kind of more satisfying, but I'm not sure why. In Raid, it's just really boring, and Apex doesn't do anything. Apex is definitely like a dungeon skill. In Raid, it's like a glorified GCD that does nothing. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much how I think about it.
I always felt like Apex Hour was just the straight shot, but times 2, because you use it like approximately every minute.
I feel the same too. I felt like when they added Apex, they thought about the dungeon aspect of it, but in the rate sense or rotation sense, it didn't really make any changes to Bard, so it felt kind of empty as a level 80 skill.
I mean, if you look at what they did to Bard in 5.0, you'll realize they kept it's basically they kept the entire kit and they added nothing. They only removed stuff. Right? Like the quick knock skill is just quick knock, right? It's the same spell. Heavy shot, burst shot is the same spell. The Ami's Muse is still the same spell. They just kept the same kit. They didn't do anything with it.
I do think it's because a lot of people actually really enjoy this in 4.0, so they decided to not change it. But I think what annoyed me the most about the whole thing is when Apex was 15 yalms, and they took really long to change it to 25 yalms. And I was doing Leviathan in 3S, and I couldn't hit the boss because the boss was too far away. It was terrible. I hated that.
Did you ever, with Apex Arrow, did you ever have the thing where if you're at the exact max distance, it doesn't hit?
Yes.
It's off?
Yes. I've had that happen. It's terrible. I don't know if they fixed it, but it was really bad.
I can tell you that on Monk, it happens with Enlightenment, and that still happens with Enlightenment.
Oh,
so,
they probably didn't.
not very
fix
often,
it.
but it can happen. So if it can happen there, I bet it's not fixed on Bard.
Yeah.
Okay. And to do more rough summary here, I guess I actually, what? I want to hit on one point you did say, Stal. You did talk about liking the Bow Wizard way more than its current state and situation. A lot of people fought back on that a lot. Like there's a huge amount of people saying this is stupid. I play Bard because I can jump around and do everything constantly. But then they got really heavy on the casting, and I think there's a lot of feedback where people were like, "Screw this! I don't want to play this at all." I gotta ask, because a typical Bard main coming from a Realm Reborn going to Heavensward, that makes sense. You're like, "Fuck! I can't believe I can't move anymore because this is why I played it." But then anyone going back from like not being able to move to moving and not liking that, is there like a masochistic reason for that, or like was it just more of a challenge? Or
yeah, well, for me it was kind of the same where before you got Minuet at 52, I was the same thing. I felt the exact same thing where it's like, I'm a ranger, I'm supposed to be able to move. Why do I all of a sudden have a cast bar? But it kind of grew on me after a while, and I kind of liked the lack of mobility and how you had to kind of moved using repelling shot, and obviously there are still things that were really bad about full range that could be improved. For example, Imperial Arrow having a cast bar as an off GCD was very odd choice. But I think other than that, I personally don't really find any use for my mobility, so I kind of would prefer to have it restricted and optimize around that while having higher DPS. That part of Bard was really fun for me, and also I didn't really get to play Machinist much at the time, so I can't compare it to Machinist.
Machinist was actually still really mobile because they had a lot of instinct.
They just
that's the reason. That's the reason why I dislike Bard, is because Heavensward Machinist existed. So as a Heavensward Machinist, you had obviously your cast times, but at the same time you were stance dancing and you had your ammo, and with that in mind you were always able to plan your movement for mechanics and everything, and that felt great. But as a Bard, I don't know, I didn't enjoy it that much actually.
Turn off wanderers and move and then turn it back on.
Or spamming feigns.
Or feigns.
Yeah. You had to use feint and then Imperial Arrow if you didn't have a street shot prop.
Oh,
that was ridiculous.
Well, all right. So I was going to go to Machinist real quick and talk about my quick summary on that was right now it feels like a warrior because you just feel really good with the drill. It's just like Fell Cleave you feel really good with. That's the only thing that I took from that is like the drill feels so satisfying to use. But I mean, from my understanding, they're the high DPS just feel good job where you're like, oh, I'm pumping out lots of DPS. Is that a correct assumption, or is that ignorant?
It's half the story, I think.
Okay.
The other half is, what's your ping?
Yes, that one.
But you know what? I don't ever risk doing anything fancy with GCDs. I don't know, like OGCDs and weaving it in there and everything. I just accept that it sucks, and I don't take any risk, and I deal with it. But yeah,
see, I'm a super fan of Final Fantasy VI, so Machinist being Edgar was a huge boost to me in terms of interest. There's definitely still some problems with Machinist, but at the very least, it is if a button is available to press and you press it, assuming outside of a few things like making sure reassembles go with drills and whatnot, you'll perform adequately. And I guess that comparison to Warrior is kind of close because being a top tier Warrior requires like a lot of very specific min maxing, but being like, high blue, purple is really just making sure you're staying on top of the buttons at somewhat okay times. So I kind of get that comparison between them.
Yeah. Most of my experience comes from Paladin, by the way, which is just a rigid. You miss one GCD, well, you're fucked. You just you mess up your rotation completely from then on.
No, Machinist is very, very flexible. Yeah. Probably one of the most flexible jobs in this game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I figured we hit all problems though. Yeah. I mean, apparently all of them have their problems, right? Is there any one that you're like, no, they're perfect, they don't need to change at all?
I mean, when we said that about Bard and Stormblood, look what we got. So I'm kind of nervous saying that now.
Yeah. Are there any jobs that are perfect and you don't need to change them at all, Frosty? Not even physical rage?
I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it. You know what? Astro is great. Astro's great. They shouldn't change that at all. That's like in the perfect spot right now.
Weren't you complaining about pressing one button over and over?
I was. But you know what? I do come from the perspective of Party Finder, so everybody fucks up all the time. And so if you play healer in Party Finder, it's like you're pressing every button, really. So okay, all right. So this is all of our opinion. Would you say that most of the raid community kind of agrees with your opinions on physical ranged?
I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of a tough call because here's the thing: when I talk in groups like this with this level of experience, the answer feels like no, everybody hates it, right? Mm-hmm. But every time I leave that group, I see so many things. I'm like, I can't believe somebody thinks that.
Yep.
And it blows my mind.
Yep. So. I was about to say that actually as well. I think what many people, people in this round at least can agree on, right? We like the jobs in general, right? Otherwise we wouldn't play it. Right? Otherwise, we would have long time ago changed to a different role, to a different job, to whatever. It's just...
I love Ori sad, laughing at that comment. I love Ori saying, oh, you love something, so that's the reason you play it. He's just...
No, I'm just laughing because I switched off physical range because I didn't like it.
See, if you don't like it, you swap, right?
Here.
Yeah.
But there are issues that you would like to see fixed because you like the job.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So tell me.
And
go ahead.
What I noticed as well is on that show 2 years ago where I said Machinist has massive issues and it provides nothing in comparison to Bard or Dancer. There were so many people saying I love Machinist the way it is. And the gameplay is fun, but it still doesn't provide anything, right? But the majority of the player base that's rather casual or just doing dungeons or whatever, they don't care as much. They just play the class. They put up a dot or two. They maybe press their quick knock a couple times, and then they're this is great. I like it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, we are all talking from a kind of a high. Well, not me. You guys are talking from a high level perspective.
You did A3, all right? You beat A3 as a machinist.
You're right.
Yeah, I didn't even do A3, yes.
Yeah. You qualified.
Okay, thank you. No, I remember that being right when I was trying to pay attention to how well I'm doing on a job, and I had ridiculous uptime, pressing buttons in this I was like, man, I'm a freaking I don't know. I was going to say I'm a freaking god, but I'm like, no, that sounds a little too egotistical, and somebody's going to clip that. But no, it felt great. It felt great playing it. And the thing is, we had a Dragoon, and if we didn't have a Dragoon, we were done. I'm guessing we're all kind of happy that that's not a situation anymore, because we had a Bard and a Machinist in our party, so if we didn't have a Dragoon, it was the static would break apart.
That was really common in Heaven's Word, especially in 3.4. You saw a lot of double range Dragoon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Ninja.
Yeah.
And Ninja, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot the final job in the ultimate comp.
Oh, okay. Well, so let's talk a little bit about. I guess we mentioned a little bit on it, but let's go ahead and talk about the evolution of these jobs. I haven't kept up with all the different changes they've made to the role since it came out for Shadowbringers. Have they made?
Good, they haven't missed anything.
No, they haven't changed anything.
What did they do? There's something. There's got to be something like potency on like dancers.
Everyone has Troubadour.
Wait,
Yeah.
Since the start of 5.0?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's 5.0 till now. Yeah.
Troubadour got changed, from 180 to 120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dots got nerfed for no reason.
They changed reassemble from 60 to 55.
Yeah.
Potencies. Sidewinder went up, then went down again. Or was it up? Or was it down first and then up?
Burst
Okay.
and
They
out.
changed
Yeah,
Bard.
50 potency
They
on
added-
on the
Yeah.
skills. Yeah.
They added the effects to Bard, to the songs, because it didn't have any at the start.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
that's
that
a
was
big one.
one. Yeah. They took away 10 potency, then gave us back 10 potency.
Is it
Uh,
okay?
I think Dancer was the most
Yeah.
untouched. It's the most untouched, actually.
Yeah, it's just like
They did
50
give
potency on a couple of its like
Yeah.
uncomboed abilities or something.
Some potency buffs on Dancer.
They buffed the AoE ones. They used to be like worse than the single, like a lot worse than the single target ones. I think at one point.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Okay. Okay.
Other than that, mostly untouched.
All right.
That's why we all are upset.
I think they're scared to touch it because of how OP ranged was for the past 2 expansions.
Yeah,
No, they don't have to worry. There's 5% now.
it's true. The 5% will keep
We're
at least
just
one
1% of
caster.
the 5%. Yeah, we're 1% of the 5%.
Oh gosh, that I'm glad it's there in some regard, but I don't know. All right, let's talk about this then. So this is a question I got from Twitter, and I'm trying to make sense of it. It was asking. It seems like SE is trying to replicate how casters are currently. Does that work here as ranged? Does that question make any sense to you?
I'm guessing it's like how Machinist is like the black mage, and then Dancer is like the red mage, and Bard is like the summoner, except it's not. I'm guessing that's what they're trying to say.
Like utility versus selfish DPS.
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, that's a good topic to go into. So, this is supposed to be the support role, I guess, right? Yeah?
Kind of.
Is it? I don't think they've. I think they've multiple times said it's not, though, right?
No?
I'm pretty sure he disagreed with that. That's not a support role.
Okay.
Or am I wrong? But I think I read that somewhere.
They won't call it that because
Exactly.
Yeah.
support implies a very specific thing when people hear it. Like if you told someone who doesn't play 14 but they play RPGs, oh yeah, this is the support role, and then they start playing it, they're like, wait, what? No, I shoot a gun. What? I don't get it.
Okay.
The only thing that I remember hearing him say is like, "Oh, as a dancer, you're supposed to buff another person," but I never heard them say support role.
It can't be called the buff role. Because
Because
everybody
like in
buffs.
Realm of One, they said healer LB3 at one point, and like they had
Yeah.
TP song and MP song, and like they had all sorts of things like that. It made sense back then. I feel like maybe it just kind of latched on because of like the way it was way back when.
Okay. Well, I mean, so basically we just have two different types of range roles. It's not like there's anything too. If you had to differentiate casters versus the physical range, besides their abilities being one being magic and one being physical, what's the big difference between the 6 jobs?
Casters have raise.
Casters have raise.
Yeah, that.
I was gonna say one's good, one's not as good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a more real answer.
In that regard, if you think about it, with the race, the physical range is probably less support now than a caster. So, like
It's true.
Troubadour being 2 minutes when a caster has an addle on 90 seconds, and you have the race. I don't know why. It's unfair.
Yeah.
Addle's super good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to me it just feels weird that they're in separate categories at all, I guess, because I mean you can clearly, all right, physical like melee, yeah, they're distinct because they have to be close up to the boss. Well, ninja, they do whatever they want, but like you got to be close up to the boss. But when you have tanks, they take all the damage. Healers, they heal up the party. Then you just have some range, and they're kind of different, right? One's magical and one's physical. And then people tell me all the time when I was talking about melee being introduced as the next one of the next jobs being melee and not a ranged, because there's four melee and then there's 6 ranged. I felt like that was my personal opinion, and I felt like it was the right one, but people completely disagree with me, and they're like, no, there's 3 different roles there. I'm like, that doesn't... Do you guys agree that it's not really 3 roles? It's really just 2 roles with a little bit difference between the 2? No? Okay. That's fine.
I don't, personally.
Anyone else? It's okay to disagree with me, please, if someone disagrees.
I feel like you're forced to have one of both, right? Because the 5% stuff,
Right now
I feel
you
like
are,
is
yeah.
like it just forces them to be different roles, and that's just
Yeah. I feel like if it wasn't for the 5%, maybe. But with the 5%, it changes a lot of things.
Do you think they should change that?
I was thinking that they might, because if you look at the majority of the groups now, are people even going like double melee most of the times? I don't feel like anymore. So I was thinking maybe, considering that they're making another melee, is that they want to go back to the rules of having 2 melees most of the times or all of the times, and that they're doing something, because right now, like if you look at 5.0, right, there were massive changes, for example, to MP and whatever, like no TP anymore. So they could bring some big changes again, and that we just don't expect at all right now. That could make 2 melees a clutch again, right? So that the quote-unquote Reaper has a guaranteed spot in it.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So you think that maybe they're just not going to do 5% anymore? It's just going to be 4%? You have to have a melee and a range?
No, I think they're still going to do 5%.
Really?
I think we're seeing them more wanting to. They're even giving them a separate role class. There was only ranged and there was caster and.
But they're getting a melee
magic
now.
and physical for role class. Now they're actually introducing a 5th one. I think they're gonna keep it at 5%.
Okay.
6%. You get 1% for each melee. There you go.
Okay. Sorry. Let me. I asked that weird question about the casters and physical here. So this is another one. It's asking, are you griefing your raid team if you can't play Machinist for Prog to make up for the lack of damage Dancer and Bard have?
Sorry, Ori.
I always find questions like those weird.
Well, I think the most griefing is when you die, right? So I've always said, like, for example, before 5.4 prog, I saw so many people in like Discord and the balance and everything. They were like, "Oh, what range am I gonna play? Am I gonna play this? Am I gonna play that? Am I gonna play this?" I'm like, okay, how about this? You play that one job that you're good at, and it'll be just fine. Because I think the one selling point that Machinists has, in my opinion at least, because I procced it in 5.4, is the job is so simple and so flexible, which at one point is obviously what people dislike, but in the scenario of prog, and when you play new mechanics the very first time, I think that's a huge selling point, because you do so much damage compared to other people, or like people are not optimized yet, and you are already optimized within like 1 or 2 pulls.
It's true.
You don't need more time for that. In my opinion, that's a good thing, because you already do the maximum potential of that job immediately when you zone in. The other jobs don't. They have to learn how to properly optimize. Machinist doesn't. That's what I think is the selling point of Machinist in prog. In prog, but not outside of it.
Okay.
I will say that the only griefing is that question in itself.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned. Because if that's really your concern, there's other problems.
Yeah,
at play.
damage definitely this tier. I mean, it matters. It exists. You got to do damage, but it's if you're all trying to do damage, it doesn't matter at all. Not in the least bit. Unless you're, I guess.
Rule of thumb in this game: if you have 8 people trying, you're good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 8 people on like what the 5% side of it, right? You got to be on the 5% side of the trying.
Yes, on the 5% side of the trend.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the end, again, and it's the same thing is most likely going to apply to 6.0 again. Play whatever job you don't die as, and you'll be fine. Literally. If you don't die as a dancer when you're using unknown font, that's good. You're doing more damage than a machinist that just died because they don't have any movement ability.
One of my friends who plays WoW likes to say, like, if you have to ask if a job is viable or not, you're not good enough for it to matter. So, like, if you have to ask these questions about, like, whether you're griefing your team or anything like that, like, it doesn't matter for you. So, it basically, I mean, I think all 3 Fizz Range and Prog are fine, personally, but yeah.
I think the only time I can really see it be an issue is maybe the first tier. If balance is very, very bad, then that's the only time.
Yeah, time
But
is
other
bad.
than that, I don't think it's an issue. Just play
There's
whatever you want.
technically another time, and that's an ultimate with phasing.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
phasing can impact these 3 physical jobs in very different ways. For example, if a bard can't have the dots up, they don't generate gauge, and then they lose damage compared to, for example, a dancer that just used the standard, and the cooldown is coming back up in the downtime. So there's that difference, right? But other than that,
Nah.
Wasn't Machinist kind of awful in Uwu because you can't dismantle the stuff because you can't target the boss? Like the
Yeah.
boss wasn't the one doing the
that
AoE.
wasn't Stormlight very bad.
Yeah, that was
But it's really
part
good
of
in
it.
UCOB.
Yeah, it was good in UCOP, but very bad in Uwu towards the end.
And if you're doing Ultimate, it's kind of a different level than I think a lot of people who play the game and play these jobs on a normal basis. Because, I mean, usually when you're doing stuff like Ultimate, most people are pretty flexible to change their jobs and play whatever they feel is the best for it. Which is why I don't have any Ultimate clears.
That's why.
Maybe. And also, I don't have the 90 to 100 hours for it. I mean...
Yeah, I was going to say, the amount of time you have is probably a bigger contributor.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, it's... God. You know what one of the questions was? I deleted it because I was like, I think we're done with this question by now.
But you're going to include it anyway.
I'm going to include it now because it feels like it fits. Is that how does the physical range feel about there not being an ultimate at 5.5? And I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do about physical range?
I just asked, what about everyone else?
Ori had the lead. That's it. Our show was 2 minutes late because of him, and he just left.
Jeez.
He's taking that time back.
It's like, I think we all feel the same no matter what role we play. That's okay. He doesn't play ranged anyways. We can keep going.
I feel about it. I feel like I get an extra week of sleep.
Dude, I get
I'm actually happy.
I get so much extra time than I would have had otherwise. It does suck because it would have been cool to make something happen with it, but I accept it. You have to roll with the swings. That's just what it is. Welcome back, Ori. So I was going to ask you your opinion about being arranged and not getting ultimate.
As a physical range main, I'm very sad that there's no ultimate in 5.5.
I'm still sad I can't run around the arena.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is the thing. I do want to talk about like the mobility side and everything. There are little things that people complain about. For example, the AoE or the I know at least standard step for dancers. You have to be close up to the boss, right? You got to kind of not close, but you have to be there, right? You have to move in a little bit.
I can tell you that if you're for some reason you're playing dancer in synced T7S and you are kiting the Renaud, you cannot reach the boss. I can promise you that I have confirmed.
Okay. Do you feel like things like this is actually an issue, or is this just part of playing those jobs and trying to balance the overall like playability of these jobs and what they're good at and what they're not good at?
I don't know. This kind of reminds me of when people ask if positionals are important on like melees, where it's like, well, do you want to do as well as possible? And like, you just kind of learn to play around them. You learn when your timings are. You learn like if you can sneak in. Like some people like to move away from a mechanic like super far in advance, and they have like a standard step coming up when they could just make sure they hit the standard step and still get to the same spot in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of understanding the job and the fight itself, and it's such a bare minimum amount of understanding compared to so many other jobs.
I mean, yeah, when you're talking about melee, the positionals, that is melee, right? That's, if you take that away, melee would be so much more dull.
Yeah, dancers. Oh no, I can't go stand out there 20 seconds in advance. How will I play this job?
But I mean, yeah, there's just small things like that. I mean, getting close in for the boss and just the little gimmicks and stuff. I feel like they should be there. There should be flaws to jobs, right? Like, kind of like flaws as in playability flaws, I guess.
If you ask any melee, this is my experience, they disagree and they want 100% uptime on every boss all the time.
Well,
DR Savage was rough with that because the boss hitboxes went back to being small after 5.4 Savage, where all the hitboxes are enormous, probably for that exact reason.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Everybody wants to just press one button and do maximum damage and feel really good about pressing that one button over and over again. I could tell you how well that went over with PvP. It didn't.
There's a lot of people, don't bring that up, there's a lot of people who want PvE, the PvP combos in PvE. That's a very common opinion. You may not want to bring that up.
I mean, let's bring it up. Let's talk about these. Combos and making it just one button,
Hey man, you guys play Bard already.
But I'm already clicking one button.
Stal's like ready to go.
I've been doing this the entire expansion.
You've been doing it the entire expansion.
Yeah, but now imagine
but you could add Refulgent on burst shot. Yeah.
Imagine if every time you got a proc, burst shot became whatever the I can't even remember.
Refulgent arrow.
Yeah, Refulgent arrow. It just became Refulgent.
No. I'm just gonna play PvP in that case.
Yeah, so you could, this way, you're playing Dancer, instead of hitting the stuff that's lit up, it just goes to spot your one finger. And it just like changes that ability.
Yeah, and 1 and 3. It prioritizes 3 over 1 on the single targets and 2 on the AoEs. 3 over 2 on the AoEs. Yeah, kill me.
Yeah.
I'm in pain.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's what, that it's part of the game, and like, accidentally hitting something when you shouldn't have hit something, that's just part of playing the game. And I feel like I get what they're trying to do with PvP and everything else, but I don't think that's the direction we need to take. Although playing Paladin, why do I fucking keep bringing up Paladin in a physical range show? Yeah, Jesus.
Paladin main.
I mean, you've got the Holy Spirit, that counts, I guess. You can throw your shield. That works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, the 1-2-3 combo, right? Because it's 1-2-3 is just like all the bread and butter of Paladin, and so like, would I really be upset if I just had to? Yeah, I would. I would be pissed off. It just wouldn't feel right. My one finger. By the way, this is like a health thing too. If you're just pressing that one finger like constantly all the time, that one finger is going to get eventually worn down, right?
No. What you do is you put the same button on like 5 keybinds, and then you just simulate it.
So you
Stop giving them ideas, Ori.
Yeah, the show is bad for the health of the game right now. I think we need to stop.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's start talk. Let's focus on Dancer and put a little bit of a spotlight on Dancer here, because there's a lot of questions on that. And so this question was, the introduction of Dancer brought about a class priority based around primarily based around a priority system instead of being completely fixed rotation. Do you think this was something the game was in need of for long-time enjoyment? I don't know why it would be long-time enjoyment or long-term enjoyment, but
Bard already was that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Bard still had a rotation, but it was essentially anytime you played it in Realm Reborn Heavens, or like prior to Shadowbringers, really, it was always about what are your priorities. It was not because do you consider burst shot a rotation? Because it's not. It's what you're doing, but There's no rotating anything at all. It's just the songs, I guess.
Also, I would switch up the question and say it's not the introduction of Dancer brought upon us the ruin of FF Logs.
FF Logs took a real
Was it
downward
necessary?
spiral after
No.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
Okay.
I think of all the rules they changed at the start, because everyone was looking at Dancer on FF Logs like right when 5.0 launched, and like, wow, that's terrible. And they're like, but you don't know what else I'm doing. And then FF Logs is like, well, we're gonna tell you, and everyone's like, oh, no.
Yeah. I love it when I'm told that I didn't hit enough abilities within my window for my, my cooldown. And it's like, I'm okay. I'm okay missing one. I'm doing Party Finder. I'm missing a lot more than just one ability here.
You're missing your friends at that point.
I'm missing my friends. Yeah.
There was also Heaven's Machinist somebody brought up in chat. That was very much just a priority system. And procs as well.
That's why I
love it. You got ammo to guarantee them. But the Dancer's definitely not the introduction of it. It's just the most that identity of the three right now, probably.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, it's very hard on that. I mean, no dots, no anything. It's like you just press whatever is the right glowy button, and you have a few things in there, but it's not much. Do you feel like the other jobs should start going in that direction even more, or is it just a good balance the way it is? You just have one that's like really hard on that, and it just goes down the line to where it's not so hard on that.
The less homogenous, the better.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Okay. Everybody seems on board with that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
I think fight design has like a lot to do with long-term enjoyment. Honestly.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can speak on that a little bit with fight design and long-term enjoyment. When they're designing fights, does it feel like they're designing them with physical range in mind?
They always do. I mean, they don't need to look at physical range. They just need to look at 60-second cooldown and 2-minute cooldowns and 90s.
Well, for rotation,
that's what they do.
right?
I'm pretty sure.
I guess for mechanics, and I'm going to refer to the crazy strat Stal I saw Stal doing for E10S, and I know it's used by a lot of people where you go and you have the casters range from one, like they run from one tower all the way across.
Oh no!
Oh, the corner to corner,
corner running. I saw that. It was so good.
Quality strats. If we clear it, we clear it.
Yeah. That's the physical range made this.
Yeah.
Like,
actually,
right?
Why did you make that?
I did not make that. It was a costume.
We did that during prog too. So in our prog, we were only thinking of the melee the whole time. We thought of nobody else but the melee. So our casters were crying. Our healers and our casters were crying.
It was a healer that made it, I think, because they wanted people to go through the middle so they could heal. So we were like, okay, then run through the middle then, and that strat just happened. It was weird.
I saw you move like, you just did laps around the arena during that, and I was just like, this is the worst thing. I wouldn't want to play caster at all or ranged at all if this was... I mean, that's the only way they could really make mechanics, I guess, for physical range, is that they would make high movement stuff, but then you have to...
Or Renaud's.
Oh.
Yeah. I always think Renaud's. Every time I think ranged physical, I think Renaud's.
Well,
Summoners too. Yeah.
That strat, I mean, like that mechanic is not really a physical range mechanic, right? It's
no.
It's just that is the way we handled it was very interesting. But I feel like the last time, I mean, obviously I haven't played physical range in a while, but the last time I can remember a mechanic for physical range, and even then it wasn't even done by physical range most of the time, was in O11S, right?
Yes.
With Panic Crater 2 with the giant circle.
Yeah.
And then people are like, all right, Paladin, you go stand in the corner and use Hollow Ground.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's funny. I went to the JP data center and played with like Hara and Ice and a few of them, and they were still doing that. Like 2 months before the 5.0 came out, and I'm like, oh no.
Everyone in JPPF does that. They don't tell the range to bait. Because they just
like, they're going to win, right? Yeah, we're going to win.
There's always been a couple times where they put mechanics on the range, but whenever they do that, they also put it on the caster, and I think that's an issue, right? Like maybe they should, if they put mechanics on only the one furthest target or on the physical range, maybe then you could justify the mobility. But for example, if you look at Yuvu, right, you have 2 eruptions that you're baiting, not just one. Or in E3S, you have 2 water puddles that you're baiting, not one. It's always combined with the caster, and the caster's crying.
Yeah, no, I think that's that would be the deal. They could only make one, like a one-person mechanic. Like it can't be double up because you can't guarantee that you're going to have 2. They don't really encourage having 2 of the same role. You just have one of every role plus whatever the fuck else fill in the spot, right? And it might not be that second physical range, so they can't really do that. So if they're going to make like role-specific mechanics, it would have to be one caster type one, and then one where it requires high mobility out in the distance, and then one that doesn't require high mobility out in the distance as well. And then that's...
one fight that did that, and it never happened again? Well, it didn't really do something of his range, but A7S cages. I don't know why they don't bring those back.
Well, you had the Scholar in the cage for one of them, right? I remember that. I played Scholar. That's here.
True. But
okay, you got one,
right? You have the caster cage, melee cage, healer, tank cage, right? Everyone got a mechanic except the first range. They were just like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm alive.
Fine. I mean, that's what you get when you have 5 roles. I mean, they could make everything, in a what's the shape? Hexagon?
Pentagon?
Pentagon? Yeah. No, Pentagon. You're right. You're Pentagon. Sorry, I'm stupid. But yeah, put everything in a pentagon now. All arenas should be pentagons.
Yeah, because like the only thing I can think of that would even remotely is something that's far away, that's specifically vulnerable to physical damage. Like that's it. That's a physical range mechanic. Mm-hmm. That's it. And I guess unless you were standing far away from like one of the orbs in like turn 11, like for some reason you weren't standing on the physical vuln orb. Like I just can't think of anything. So
that's why I think they're going to go and just going to be 2 melee mechanics, two range mechanics, and that's it. It's just going to be split. And, we'll still have 5%. It'll be 1% for any range, 1% for any melee, 1% for shield healer, 1% for regen healer, and 1% for tank.
Frosty, you should have called this show The Last 1%.
Yeah, the last 1%.
That hurts.
Oh,
that hurts.
Okay. I am wondering about this again. We did laugh about this. Can you guys even think of why people would think that bringing Dancer is a meme for Prague? I mean,
I don't.
Because that was a question. They were wondering, why is Dancer a meme for Prague? But that doesn't really make sense at all.
Isn't that what Sfia and Sindolf were saying?
Is that what they said?
Yeah, I remember them saying that, but I don't know why. But I don't know.
I mean, yeah, when we're talking about world race, it's different. But yeah, go ahead.
No, even on world race, I massively disagree with that. That's the worst kind of excuse to bring. It's not a meme. Never has been.
Yeah. So
the only time Dancer is going to be a meme is if the Dancer is not the 4th DPS in your group. Because if they're already not the 4th DPS in your group, they might as well be on Machinist.
So the variance on the Dancer, the damage itself, is not that great enough to impact an enrage, like a clean enrage. If every 8 people hold their weight, the enrage is never going to be an issue. Like in all of these fights, even with instance memes, the Dancer is not the issue. In fact, the Dancer may even be the positive factor, not the negative.
Yeah, okay. So it's just... Yeah, back to it was Sindolf. Sindolf, apparently. We saw a tweet in chat here. I can look it up real quick, and we can all make fun of Sindolf for his opinion, which I think actually happens a lot. I think he has some hot takes that not everybody agrees with. What was it that he said?
But he knows they're hot and that people won't agree with them, though. Because Sindolf likes to light the fire. He's the matchstick to the fire in a fun way.
All right.
What people are saying in chat is basically what I said earlier as well. You just play the job that you're most comfortable on. Just play that. If like Bard has the good thing about it that you've been playing the same job since 4.0. So obviously you have so much freedom, so much attention, awareness that you free up, so you can call it mechanics and figure out stuff at the same time. That's the same for dancer. That's the same for machinist, right? So whether you read chat at the same time as a streamer, or whether you type to someone else when you're, I don't know, doing something else, or if you're watching a movie, right? I don't know. I think that's just physical range as it is right now.
Okay.
You want proof that Sindolf's always trying to be on the hot take side. So when T came out and I was progging it, I thought that the Nisi phase was harder than Wormhole. I was like, I think Wormhole's super I think it's hard to figure out, super easy to do on repeat. But I get nervous every time I do Nisi phase. And I had so many comments like, you're an idiot. And then there's one from Sindolf said, but it's true though. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. He just likes the hot take. All right.
He's a natural contrarian.
Yeah. He also shaved his eyebrows off at one point. I mean, he's a funny guy. What?
I don't think I saw that.
You did? Oh no, he did it for. Was it if he lost Prague for which one? Which
Lost
team?
Shiva.
Lost
Yeah.
Shiva. Yeah, he'd shave his eyebrows, and they're gone. He went into work without eyebrows. But does he have a bed yet? All right, let's stop talking about Sindolf. Let's talk about Dancer a little bit more. All right. This was a question about improvisation. Do you guys actually use it apart from downtime to build gauge?
Yeah.
Yes. I used it during Prague for the heal buff during like enrage, like the repeat cast during enrages and stuff. That like 5 seconds you get is a cast or two on heals.
Okay.
You just click it and it's there for 5 seconds. You don't have to channel it. It's like all the other channels.
Oh, it's like the which I learned recently, the Astro one where you put the bubble up real quick and just run. You don't hold it.
And on top of that, you're guaranteed 10 gauge. You don't have to worry about it ticking. If it ticks, you get 20. If it doesn't tick, you just get 10. The only thing is you have to make sure it doesn't slow an auto attack. Like you have to hit it between autos, otherwise you might delay an auto attack.
Look,
That's the most advanced use on it if you get the double take with autos in mind.
If you guys in chat are complaining about these questions, you need to follow me on Twitter and be a part of giving me some fucking like good questions. All right, because I'm trying to get what the community wants to hear, and I only know from what they say on Twitter. All right, so you guys give me the questions, I will get them asked.
Throw some questions into chat.
You know what? Don't throw it in the chat because I'm not gonna watch chat. Do this. Throw them into this forum. And if you put them in that forum, I'll ask them. All right. So I bet the questions are gonna be just as stupid. I trust you guys. All right. Anyways. What else about Dancer? What's there something that you guys would want to mention?
I think improv is still like not great. There's nothing worse than being the dancer and having that one person in the group who just doesn't stand still during intermissions.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, I now have 39 gauge, and I hate you. And you can't even use it in dungeons. You only get 7 gauge or 6 gauge or something in dungeons or something because you don't have 8 people. It's so stupid. Like, why does it work that way?
Improv's a level 80 skill, right? Or
It sure is.
Doesn't feel level 80 at all.
Your reaction, Ori, is our reaction. It's level 80, right? Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It's when the red mage back flips out just as you click improv. Oh my god. Stupid red mage.
I can feel that.
I think the idea of improv is cool. When I first read it, like when 5.0 came out and like you got the job guides and everything, I thought this was cool and like a game breaker, but in the end it was just meh. Meh.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's ask some questions about Bard here then.
Oh no.
Here's one of the first ones we got. Basically, how do we fix Bard?
Before we answer that, I need like I need Stal's audio isolated and sound clips of every reaction to everything you've said this entire show. Because that's comedy gold right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We should do that. Maybe I'm gonna do that on my stream. Like, get all these clips, and then people can do exclamation point, "Oh no!" and then Stahl's voice just comes up.
Oh no.
Okay, wait. But I have one thing to say about Bard and how to fix it. I don't think I've read this from other people, right? Like, you know, the general opinions, right? Like, okay, give Bloodletter stacks, give Imperial Arrow stacks, change Apex Arrow, right? That's all we already know. But in my opinion, one thing I want, the opener is boring as hell. And looking at the 5.0 design philosophy of keeping the same kit as it is, I'm just going to propose one thing that still stays the same kit, but it would change one thing. What I want to see is a 2-minute cooldown that makes the first song that you have get the effect of all 3 songs.
So
for the whole 30 seconds.
So you get Bloodletter stacks, the hate stacks.
Exactly. When you press Imperial Arrow, you get AP stacks, you get Bloodletter stacks, you get Pitch Perfect stacks, all at the same time, and everyone else also receives all the buffs: the crit, the direct hit, and the damage up.
The ability crescendo done.
And that would make it so sick, because now imagine, right? You're in the opener and you press Imperial Arrow, you're getting 2 things at the same time, and you're also getting faster. And now imagine you stack that on top of like Imperial Arrow stacks. That would be so cool, and it would stay within the same kit.
Oh, my ping.
We play on JP now.
Oh, yeah, we're JP now. Yeah, okay.
do you
I like
play
that
on JP
idea.
now?
Yeah, we moved our group to JP.
Oh man. All right. Well, I mean, it works for some of your group, right?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Not the majority.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty cool idea.
No,
I think maybe I'm cynical, but I think Square Enix would never do that. But I think it'd be cool.
Well, no. So here's what
that.
they need to do. They need to say, all right, so that's going to be one of their new things they do in the skill highlight video for Bard. And then the next thing is improved straight shot. They changed the animation. It does the exact same thing, does nothing different. Then let's do that for, 3 other abilities, and just keep Bard exactly the same with one real new ability in the end. And that's Endwalker Bard.
Oh, Frosty. See, I like his answer because it's so different from my answer. Because I so fundamentally just don't want Bard to... Well, I don't know. It's tough. Because I think they need to Stormblood it again is the problem.
Okay.
They don't, but they need to like really reassess what its identity is, because they nailed it and they screwed it up, and I don't know if they can go back to nailing it and keeping it the same.
One thing that maybe that's already the spoiling the 6.0 question, but
I don't care.
What I would like to see,
the show.
Yeah. What I would like to see on the physical range in general, but maybe that's just me, and I've been saying this for ages, and, well, there's this one interview that said that Paladin has this identity of being like the guy with the wings, right? And it's like this one ability that defines Paladin, maybe Hologround as well, right? And that's what Yoshida said, and they want to like get that kind of ability on like all the jobs. And I'm just wondering, what could you do to like these jobs? And what I would love to see in general would be on the physical range more of an ability that you can spam on other people. And it's like defensive mitigation, TLDR. That's like something you can do a lot of times. Not just once every 10 minutes or something. Like once you can, for example, it's like a 10 seconds cooldown and it stays on the target for 2 seconds.
What?
I feel like timing a 2-second thing would be so hard in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think he means that. I think he's just throwing numbers out there. Right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a number, right?
Yes.
Can you imagine? I'm gonna stop this motherfucking. I'm gonna reduce this damage by 50%, but 2-second cooldown, 2-second last on it. So if I get it, holy fuck! But if I don't get it,
Okay, but this idea is based on how how was it called again? On Machinist. Dismantle used to work. It was a 60-second
God,
CD,
so good.
Oh,
and it had
yeah.
5 seconds uptime. If you didn't time this well on Ares, it didn't stay on it, right? And then people would like meme you because they'd say like, "Dismantle fall off again," and it didn't even catch it, right? But imagine that, and you had like an actual CD. Yeah. So imagine if you had like an actual CD that makes you play active, like you need to use your awareness that you have because you have such a simple job, and you use it to like help other people survive.
You know, I think that's really funny because I feel like Square Enix's design philosophy around physical range is to create jobs that are like, it's not like, okay, so physical range are like simpler because they don't have to move, right? And their rotations are, I don't know, maybe I haven't played them, but like they feel pretty simple, but it's like, especially because you don't have to move. And I feel like it's not like they want to have other complexity to make up for that, to make them equally difficult as other jobs. I think they purposely want physical range to be like the beginner role.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
you think so?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, I do. And like, I don't like it. It's like I kind of get it, like, because you want roles for beginners. I really dislike how it's forced to be in every group if it's made for beginners. But yeah, I don't know. In terms of like practicality, that's kind of what I feel.
So you're calling all physical range DPS baby players?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I will 100% admit that I go monkey brain sometimes on first range, and like either you see me jumping around the arena like 100% of the time, or you just like don't pay any attention. You just watch a movie on the side, like,
Yeah.
hello, is the fight over already?
Same.
You know how many times I've had somebody be like, "You bored there?" And I'm like,
But I mean,
Maybe they just need a higher skill ceiling, if
What-
possible.
if we're looking at other jobs, and I'm going to use healer for example, it could be a bad example, but you think about white mage, it's pretty straightforward, right? There's not a lot of complexity, whatever to it. All right, sometimes my tongue just doesn't work. Then you go into like Astro and Scholar, it's a little bit more complicated. I mean, when we start memeing about like, you know, when stuff's on farm, you just press one button as a healer, and that's healers, and you just do OGCDs the entire time. But when you're progging, it's work. Like, you're figuring out how to make all the healing and stuff. Look, healing is difficult.
no. I was gonna say part of the work is getting people to not run out to West Bumblefuck every time
It's
they do.
true.
Every time,
Especially a certain role. Yeah.
yeah, especially certain role. You know, that last 1%.
But I mean, within the role, it has a this is easier, then it gets harder as you go down the roll, right? That's kind of how I thought it worked. But from my understanding in this conversation right now, physical range all around, it's just straightforward, easy. It's not like there's a harder one and there's an easier one. Is that
They are
true?
roughly similar, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
It comes down to interest. Like, I don't like playing Bard, so I just don't play it as well. Like, I just, my brain lapses while I'm playing because I'm like, I don't care. But I don't think it's harder necessarily.
Okay.
Truthfully though, Frosty, I actually feel like white mage should be harder. So like I would rather them be like closer to each other, and that the healers are all like more on the level of Scholar's complexity, which I actually don't think is too complex. And when people ask me like what healer they should learn, I usually say like don't learn white mage if you want to learn how to heal, because like white mage is just like so like you just hit a button, whereas like you learn how to heal if you play something like Scholar. So I'd actually not rather have something where the jobs are more equally I don't know. I actually think the casters do it pretty well. I think the caster role is pretty. I mean, like Raze really screws with things, I think, balance wise, but I think ignoring that, the caster role is pretty decent there.
Well,
Just-
actually, maybe Bard is actually the one that is. It appears as the most beginner friendly, but it's actually out of the three, I think the one with the most depth to it, or like because there's a lot of optimization you want to do, especially in like Mage's Ballad and how you use Bloodletter and Imperial Era with the way how it's done right now. and especially like dot tracking and the ticks with it, that takes the most, in my opinion at least, the most skill at least out of the three
Okay.
overall.
I would say the thing that bothers me about Bard is the few times I've tried it and leveling and everything else is that you put up the 2 dots and you're like, please proc. And you're just like, you got your fingers crossed and you're like, the sooner it procs, the better I am. But you're just hoping that something happens and that buff happens, right? And it feels...
Yeah. I know what you mean. Because at least with Dancer, in the opener, that's Dancer. You're like, please, fan dance.
Right.
Fan dance. But every opener after that, you have like you can save resources, and the odds of you not having something more consistent is not very high. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and then you're like, holy crap, there's 2 targets? Fucking procs, man! Because you just throw your dots up on multiple targets. But I don't know.
The only sad thing about Bar, so you do have all this optimization that you can technically do. And it's like, you do all of this stuff, and you're like, so in the flow, you're like tracking everything properly, and then it's like, you look at the numbers, and you're like, oh, I got outperformed again by a dancer. Unlucky, I guess.
It's just what it is, unlucky.
It's like, you do the most stuff, and you get the least.
First thing for Bard and Machinist in Endwalker, get rid of Quick Knock and whatever the
Bioblaster.
No.
What?
No. Spread shot,
Yeah,
and
spread
give us auto shot, and give us the other one, Rain of Arrows, not Rain of Arrows.
Grenado shot?
Grenado shot.
Auto shot, yes. Get rid of those. Bring back the good AoEs.
True.
We'll feel a lot better. Okay. Get rid of these conal AoEs. Nobody likes them.
Yeah, why do they... I guess they just want to have a different type of AoE. They're like, cool, there's one that goes in a cone, one that goes in a line, one that's like a circle around the boss, and one a circle around you, and it's just like, they're different, guys! But obviously...
That's why Dancer feels good to AoE on, because they're all circles. There's none of them are conal.
You just stand up next to the monster, and you're like, look at me dance! I'm beating the fuck out of you, because I'm dancing around, I'm beating everything up. But yeah, no, I could agree. I absolutely do agree. I hate conal AoEs. All right, so here's the question I had from Machinist, and we'll get to chat's questions in a bit. We got some more stuff to work through here. Twitter got in first. Bard and Dancer have RNG-based rotations, probably because of their 100% uptime. Is there a better way to introduce or challenge complexity to the jobs other than RNG? Would Machinists benefit from more randomness, or does having a role as a selfish DPS limit it to a traditional rotation?
I think I would just say what Happy said earlier. I don't want homogenization. I forgot that word.
Homogenization,
I don't want all 3 of them to be the same. If Machinists can have a fixed rotation, that's fine with me. I mean, It is flexible in a way, right? Because you have your combo, but at the same time you can also Heat Blast, and it doesn't actually interrupt your combo. And you can also use the Drill and Air Anchor. It's not as static, but it is, yeah.
One thing that I always ask for in Stormblood, and I don't know, maybe it's like would be cool now, I don't really know. But like in Stormblood, I wanted Bard to be like keep it the way it is, but then bring back cast Bard specifically for Machinist only. And I think that would give like a different flavor within the role.
Yes.
Heavensward Machinist, again, best. It was some of the most fun I had playing a job.
It was really well implemented. Heavensward Machinist is a great way to do ranged with cast bars. It was the right way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. What that could also probably do is save some resources and decouple Bioblaster from Drill and make Bioblaster a good dot that you have to keep up at the same time all the time. I think that would already make it a little bit funnier.
They're really like
Flamethrower into Chainsaw, because that's from Final Fantasy VI, and now that's just Whirlwind from World of Warcraft on Warrior. There you go.
Would you play Machinist if it got Chainsaw?
I expect it better get chainsaw. There's a few tools that it doesn't have yet, and that's one of them. Chainsaw is one of the most popular ones from Final Fantasy VI. But imagine you're playing ranged physical and you just whip out a chainsaw and start spinning around in range.
Very happy. Don't you think the queen is gonna turn into a Gundam mecha suit after using it once or twice?
Yeah.
Don't you think that's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
you're the machinist, you're like punching the thing as a mecha suit?
That would be great. I'm going to be honest. If they do that, I'm probably going machinist. It's pretty much
that is the trailer. You see it, machinist.
I think they're gonna do that, but they have to make sure that it's not like the Queen's rotation where it's punch.
True.
Because, I mean, to be fair, that's not much different than machinist with heat blast, I suppose. But I mean, both these things are happening simultaneously. It would need to be like Mustadio more so, where you still have a gun and you're still doing like things that but they're all like super mecha versions of it.
It could function like the Summoner Phoenix, right? Where you just your GCD swap.
Please no.
And then... that's like the cheap version of that, you know? But
Or
at least it would look cool.
And maybe if they make it so that you can move while attacking, unlike Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yes,
not to AI.
It's level 90, you turn into a Gundam and it's 4 times
Wait.
drilling air anchor.
Oh yeah, that's so gonna happen.
Oh my god.
It's like-
It's funny because it could totally happen.
It's literally the same thing they did to Felcleave.
And Bloodspiller.
Oh, Felcleave is sick. Wait, let's do it 5 times. All right.
Bloodspiller too. Oh my god, every job's gonna get IR next expansion.
Oh. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff they could do with machinist going forward with those.
But can they make Wildfire fun? The real challenge on machinist.
I like
You know what?
Heaven's Ward.
It was good in
Here's the thing.
Heaven's Word.
Yeah,
The
it was
most-
good at that. He's right.
The most fun wildfire I have in this game, and never stay away. I will never change my opinion on this. The 3-minute big wildfire was the best thing in this game ever.
Yeah. Just that
Okay.
huge explosion. Oh, it was like it all paid off in the end.
Dude, press Raging Strikes, press Hawkeyes, press Blood for Blood, and pump in Wildfire. That was
It's
so
Weird.
satisfying.
It's weird because Wildfire could if the bare minimum amount of effort they could put to make Wildfire better is to literally just make it a direct crit. Like, and so it's because when Wildfire is going on the screen and you see all the numbers, like the floating text, it just kind of happens and then just go like it's just gone. Like it's just like all right, Wildfire explodes.
Yeah.
Make it a
So.
big number, a huge explosion on your screen. Yeah. I guess
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That alone would like make it at least not feel like it would feel like it's there.
Oh.
Because it doesn't feel like it's there.
Let's see. This is a question from chat. It's not relevant to anything, but I figured I'll ask it because Stal might know what it means. Stal, how many hours is a short stream?
It is 3 hours
3 hours? Is
plus 6.
Why is that funny?
do you
3
just,
hours plus 6.
3 hours plus 6? Stal
Oh.
goes on for a
Yeah.
short stream, and then it goes into 6 hours, or 9 hours. Okay. It makes me feel bad because my standard stream time is 3 hours.
12 hours in a day, right? And this is less than that. So it's short.
Yeah, it's short. It's lesser than precisely chat. Get it right.
Get it right, chat.
Yeah. Hell,
Twitch chat, what are you
I've
doing?
been right the whole time.
That's why you're here.
It's less than 12. Short stream. Easy.
Okay. So here's a question. What if you had to balance damage between the support roles and the other DPS? Where should the support roles? The physical range roles. I hate saying physical range because it's 2 words, and I hate 2 words. But that being said,
Pranged.
Yeah, right.
It's like pranked, but it's just pranged.
Pranged.
We got pranked by
Got
Square
pranged,
Enix.
yo. Okay.
We
So
got pranged.
where should the DPS lie for pranged versus the other DPS jobs?
like if we're talking, raid DPS, I mean, like, shouldn't it just be the same? It's not like they have any more utility than the other jobs anyway, so it's not like, yeah.
The excuse used to be the mobility meant they had to do less. They threw that ideology out ages ago. Like, it's just not true across the non-physical range. Because if you look down the list, you could probably have some light association to it, but everything else is so much closer together than ranged. So listen, it was suggested I'm using it.
Yeah, it works.
Right?
It helps. So ranged should have pretty much the same DPS as the melee and the ranged.
Okay, we didn't need ranged. Wait,
What is
they're not ranged. Wait, now hold on.
No,
now we got to back up.
No, because range can still be confused with physical range, so you got to say ranged.
Caster.
We're not saying caster. No, because if you get cast bars with physical range, they're casters too. So we're just gonna do ranged and ranged.
Say magic.
Magic, sure,
Mages.
but magic, mages, I guess. Summoners, a summoner is not a summoner mage.
Frosty, I'm going to give you one chance to end this.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Keep happy on the show. All right. This is, I don't know if I want to ask that. I'm going to skip that one. Let's see. Through extra. So we already asked this, but we're all just pretty much, we don't need physical range to have really high utility and just be like that, be part of their identity. You think it should be just they have some utility, melee has some utility, casters have some utility, and they all do damage. Or you think that we should maybe go to a different point of view where the range actually has a higher utility than the other jobs?
I think if they keep the damage of physical range this low, I would like them to give us back utility. Things like either, it could be literally anything, like either more offensive utility or defensive utility. I liked having refresh back in the day. I felt like that made the job at least important, and like you needed to talk to the others. Palisade was really cool as well, when a tank could like call for it and you could apply to them. It's like you felt like you had a place in the raid, but I would like that.
Go ahead.
Full Requiem, I guess. Full Requiem was really, really good. I think as long as it's not like a passive utility like the song buffs where you're literally doing your rotation and the buff is just 100% uptime, it's always there. As long as it's an active utility that you can click, it would feel way better.
Okay.
There's a lot of things they could do. Like, honestly, like, I'm of the opinion role actions in particular are a mistake, in that it feels like we have to identify, like, we have to look at that to even look at physical ranged identity, because that's where Machinist gets its only utility, where the role is, they've said, oh, this role is more utility driven, but we have Machinist who isn't. But they have this just because every physical range has it. I feel like it's pushed us more towards that homogenation than we need to. So I think it shouldn't be about should physical ranged get more utility or not. It's every job should just be the job should be balanced around what they want to accomplish with that job.
Okay.
And nothing else.
One thing I never understood was why did they remove this bundle? And then why is Samba, Technician, and Troubadour the exact same thing, but it's not a wall action?
Yes, that's what I've been thinking as well.
And also, the old Troubadour was so cool, and then they just removed it
Well,
for something so less interesting.
they're definitely homogenizing, right? And then, look at the tanks. I think they just did the same way they did it with Shadow Wall, Palisade, the Sentinel, and all the other ones, right? Same skill, but with their own aesthetic flavor for whatever, and that's why they're not real skills, I guess.
Yeah. I think Troubadour was super cool. like Troubadour back in the
Yeah.
day was based on what song you were using and whether it's like a physical, magical, or HP. But I think the issue with that is I don't know what's a physical or magical attack because the game doesn't tell me unless I use a certain
Third-party tools.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell in prog, and if there was a way to see what's physical and magical, I think it would be so much better. But it is really sad that Troubadour just kind of got, it's just everything's the same now. It's a bit weird.
I mean, if
It is easier to apply.
it doesn't seem like a hard thing to apply to the abilities either. You just put a little tag and you're like, physical, magical, or non-affiliated, I guess, would be another one that they would do. I don't know if they... Is there still darkness? There's not darkness anymore.
Yes, there is darkness still.
Is there?
There was darkness
Yeah.
recently, wasn't there?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember this.
Yeah, me too.
Something in Eden in the first
Yeah,
half.
E1.
Was it one? Was it E1S?
It might have been the Shiva raid Y during the ads phase that does half your health.
Shiva Raid.
Oh, I remember the very beginning of well, no, it was Shiva. It was Eden.
Oh,
Right?
Eden's gravity also.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Also,
That's percent damage. What do you mean?
Yeah, but that's percent. Darkness just ignored mid. Like A4S, his raid wide between each leg, that was darkness. So it could only be reduced with damage with
Shields.
specifically like shields and like and
Reprisal.
damage. Yeah, reprisal. That's the one. Just flat damage down.
Yeah, not like magic or physical damage downs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They definitely started to decrease the amount of darkness damage though over time.
Yeah.
It's not
They
as
used it a
frequent
lot
anymore.
when the game first was like its early life.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to constantly move away from it. You know what? Endwalkers, no more magical physical. Those aren't types anymore. It's all just damage now.
Won't even be surprised.
Melee will have utility for
Yeah.
once.
Saint.
Damn.
Oof.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm not a fan of it because I do like things to be a little bit more complicated in some ways. Not because I'll be able to do it well, because I'll be impressed with other people doing it well. But understanding that and just like game knowledge and everything else is fun. But I don't think there was, maybe in A Realm Reborn, did we have like where it really mattered? What, like, I know there's materia for it, right? For different types of damage, like fire damage and ice damage, wasn't it?
It never mattered.
No, I don't think. I think I remember somebody jokingly putting fire resistance on for turn 13, and then it didn't do anything or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember death spells to get 40% like block or 40% parry. That was a thing.
I remember doing Yuka prog in the group Delete Monk. Momo, I don't know if it was Momo, but someone bought resistance materia, and that meme went viral.
That was wasn't that 5150? Didn't they do
I don't
that
know who
on
it
stream
did,
and
but
then
it was
everyone
doing
knew about
Yuka
it?
prog. Momo tweeted the Phoenix down, the item. That was hilarious. He didn't even see Phoenix at the time. He just did it.
Oh, such a meme.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I would be really upset if they removed the physical and magical because it doesn't really even matter. I guess, right?
Some Dark Knight who's really upset about it. I'm sure.
Paladin doesn't give a fuck anymore. I can tell you that. But I don't know. I think that at this point, if they just removed it, it wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world. One thing with physical ranged, they took away, TP basically completely, right? So do you feel like that was a good call? Because, I mean, that did take away utility from physical range. They had that extra, hey, here's extra mana or here's extra TP. Are we happy that that's gone?
Yeah, I'm fine with it because they already said that the initial plan was already for 4.0 to remove it when they made sprints free.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they were already on the way of removing TP, and I don't think that decision wasn't even made for us high-end players, right? That was made for the casual people that go into dungeons and just want to press the AoE buttons.
Right.
Yeah. I'm okay with no TP as well.
Mm-hmm.
As a ninja who had to do A3S prog and have a Dark Knight and another melee begging me for gold. Yeah, no, I'm sort of okay with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As a
Go
bard
me,
that
macro.
played TP song and got my DPS down and everything, because people died and needed TP. Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm just trying to think of the other things that a support role would have. If we wanted to push them into that category of its own.
I feel like if you're gonna push it into that category, like if you really wanted to do a support, it just needs to be a support who's like it's exactly what Zeppe said earlier. They just need to be short-term buffs. They need to be buffs that need to be maintained.
Okay.
One good example.
Or in Monster Hunter, that's right. That's frequent. I mean, those last actually a pretty long time.
Yeah.
But more frequent than that.
For example, one good example that we already have in this game is Dark Knight with TBN, right? Like a good Dark Knight player can save so many players by applying a TBN to said player when they're about to die to an AoE, for example, or if they are standing in AoE, or if they're fucking up something, right? A good Dark Knight player can do that, and I don't understand why they wouldn't give that ability to like a physical ranged. Maybe not to all of them. Maybe it could just be the machinist, or maybe it could just be the bard, but something like that, right? Maybe like a shield, maybe like a 5% defense up, whatever. Could be anything.
For the bard, please.
Do you think? Here's a question. Do you think bard or machinist could use a dash or maybe a disengage on? I'm sorry, bard. Yeah, or a disengage on machinist.
Bard has
Yeah.
repelling.
Yeah, so they got that at least.
Just machinist.
I would like to see something on machinist, but
But then we're
know.
making them the same as all the other jobs, right? We're not giving it a weakness.
I got every Heat Blast has a 3-all knockback. Got it.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, not a knockback. You get.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Knock yourself back. Yeah.
There you go.
I wish we had a grappling hook, but not a grappling hook, but a grappling hook not only to the like an enemy target, but like to anything, right? It could be a target, it could be a party member, or it could be the ground. You know, that kind of grappling hook. That would be cool.
Oh.
Okay. Here's another question. From each job, what is something you would want to remove completely?
Stal.
Bard.
Let me think. I gotta pick one.
Just
All
one
about
thing
my
that you
answer,
want to
but
just remove.
That makes Stal for the answer.
Apex.
Okay.
If I remove it, can I get something else?
Yeah. So you remove something. Let's do that. Yeah, you remove something, then you get something else.
Remove Apex and give me back full Requiem.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. You know, they're not going to call it Faux Requiem. They're just going to call it something else, and it's just going to have the abilities of Faux Requiem.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Yeah. They're like, what are you talking about? It never had this before.
They probably recolor it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Machinist, what are we doing?
Bring back gun mage, delete bard. I would delete anything on machinist to get back gun mage. I don't even care.
Really?
But
yeah.
I mean, like, I actually really don't like the way machinist is right now. Personally, I just like really don't like the job. But I think you can remove like pretty much any skill, and I think it would be fine.
I
As
would
long
remove
as you got the
flamethrower
damage.
for something fun.
Remove flamethrower for a chainsaw. Done. I already gave my answer earlier.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll remove flamethrower and get direct crit on wildfire, or wildfire scaling off of damage directly again.
Okay. What about dancer?
Improv.
Get rid of improv. Make Enavant deal damage when you dash through things. Done.
Ooh.
So many chances to dash off the edge.
Like tackling.
They're just going to be dashing through like the bad that's under the boss whenever they cast it.
Dash straight into a
That's
tank
so
buster.
sick, though. I would, yeah. Heck yeah.
Okay. All right, so that was just one of the questions here. Let's see if I have any other good questions. Let's talk about the future a little bit. We have done that already, but let's talk about. We talked about Machinist already getting the Gundam that you're going to pilot, right? That's going to be the big change for Machinist.
I would like to see it, but what about the others? What would you like to see on Machinist?
Okay. What would I like to
Sorry,
see?
I read chat and I
Yeah.
saw something that gave me a brilliant idea.
All right, go with it. Run with it.
No. Somebody said unlimited Shikuchu and outside of combat. I was like, movement skills not going on cooldown out of combat. I thought of Enavon just across all of Crystarium, and I'm like, oh, yes.
Oh,
That's
Just-
gonna be the
amazing.
BIS shop for Housing Savage.
true.
yeah. Just move it. Oh god. Do you know how horrible like open world would be? Just people dancing and skidding everywhere constantly.
What?
That's what we're talking about, right? No
Horrible.
cooldown on the movement. Of
I
all
fly over everything anyway. How am I going to see anyone on the ground doing that? If they want to do it, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So what we said, Machinist. The big thing was the Gundam. Did you guys have any other things for 6.0 that we want to see with Machinist?
Paladin
Gun
in
Gun
combat.
Mage. I get it. By the way, Ori.
Ooh.
But
Ooh.
wait a minute. What did you say, Sep?
Paladin in combat.
Paladin in
Makes
combat.
you
Peloton.
Oh, Peloton.
It's
have to
the
go
Peloton.
fast.
movement skill, the roll action.
Okay.
Do you think that could be an interesting, like, you know how Paladin works right now, right? It applies for like 30 seconds and you move slightly faster. Not too
I
much.
mean, it's just right
Do you
under
think that
sprint,
could-
isn't it?
Yeah, do you think that could be an interesting change? If it was
Yeah.
like applicable in combat?
Yeah.
I feel like
I
you
think
could
it could-
move people. It would be funny because they would move like faster than they expect. and
If you
walk.
turn on it, then they shoot.
Oh no! If you have a marching mechanic and you Peloton right before, oh no!
Oh, I
That's
need
so
that.
troll.
But it would be interesting to add that in there because I feel like that would be just make it not work on Forced Marched or something like that.
Oh, it should work on Forced March. Listen, if I can be rescue killed like consistently and everything, then this should work. Okay.
Okay. I do think it would be
Melee
amazing.
second for Peloton, agreed.
But you know, you only do that to one person. Peloton, you could do that and kill your entire party. Because they all just walk into the wall. Forced
That's
March into the
so?
wall. Okay.
So, listen, most of the time a healer's rescuing you to your death, they are doing so likely killing themselves, which is already going to put you back a little bit.
I mean, they do also have tiles, right? So I think they do enjoy people fucking over other people. Because, you know, they have ETNS cleaves, right? So it's just, maybe they will go in that direction. All right, but that actually applies to all the different jobs in the role. It doesn't apply just to Machinist here. But I feel like, yeah, if we brought it back to what Ori said with the Gun Mage, he'd probably be the biggest thing in the world. Yeah, go ahead.
I have something.
Yeah.
Machinist. Reassemble resetting drills cooldown.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Because, man, is that annoying if you aren't perfect with it across the whole fight.
yeah.
You're off by even a second at any point. You're like, oh, Trick Attack has 7 seconds left when I did it this time. And then you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I get it. But when you're in party, heck,
Well,
go ahead.
You're pretty fine, you just stop caring.
Yeah, I don't care. Party fight. So these are things I don't even think about anymore. But go ahead, Seb.
perhaps I'm thinking about like what people complain about usually. Like there's a lot of ping issues, right? Something I could imagine them doing to counteract on that a little bit, if they care. I don't know if they care. It's like some sort of ability that can consume all of your ricochet and gauss round stacks at once without any like loss, right?
I think what you're more likely to see, because I don't think they care. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think they care. I think this is a big one. They're gonna change hypercharge to being stacks. It's gonna be 5
Yeah.
stacks of hypercharge.
Yeah, probably.
I was thinking that too. Probably sucks.
Just move to Japan.
Just move the
By
Japan.
default.
Hey,
Or California.
Or California. Don't come to the United States.
What he said.
Oh, okay. What about Bard? What's this big thing besides the awesome recommendation of everything being used at the same time, all songs being all the benefits at the same time?
For every instrument they add to performance, I want to get a new LB3 so I can pick which LB3 I want. They add so many instruments.
What if they just let you fight with all the performance instruments?
What's the drum LB3?
You go like bongo,
Bongo.
like drums fall from the sky.
Bongo, Party Finders is bongo parts only.
Yeah.
Also, well, one person's already writing in the chat the dot spreader. I think that's probably what they're doing. I think unless if they suddenly completely give us something fresh and new, I think they'll just do the same thing again and keep the same kit roughly the same and just slightly add things. I think a dot spreader is one of those things that will for sure come into the dungeons at least.
Yeah, I think what's the AoE shadow? What's it called?
Shadow shot.
Shadow bite.
Shadow
Bite.
bite.
Shadow Bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll probably just spread from the target that you're on.
Yeah.
I remember we thought it would, like when watching the original trailer, and then
Yeah. But it just turned out to be like an AoE thing.
You know how many people are so confused by the fact that it just looks at the original target's dots, and they thought like, oh, I need dots on every target in order to
I
make
was so confused when I saw that. That's not possible. I'm in a dungeon with like massive poles. But it turns out that it was just one.
just don't big pull.
What?
What Yoshi P wants.
Yeah, don't big pool. Who does that? That's for elitist toxic people.
There's the reality is a single target apex arrow is coming. Like, let's be real. It's Xenoglossy and Foul all over again. There's going to be a single target
Also,
apex.
I'm scared.
most likely it's probably also going to be like a GCD with a CD thing, right? Because Bard doesn't have any of that. Like all the jobs got something. Even Blue Mage got it, but Bard just I guess I'm here. I don't know. I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
We just got compared to Blue Mage. How far? Oh my
Blue Mage.
Blue Mage
is
has
real right
stacks.
now,
Blue
right?
Mage has
It's
GCD
a
with
really
CDs.
good job.
Bard's the same.
But the thing is, Blue Mage isn't a real job.
Hey,
Yeah, but Blue Mage can solo A8 Savage, and nobody else can right now. So that's it.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is a gimmick. Anyways, let's hit Dancer. What are we changing about Dancer going into 6.0?
I actually have no
Me-
idea about that. So
I have no
maybe
idea.
one thing I would like to see changed are the dances being affected by skill speed. But I also see many people not asking for that. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I think that one's weird because like the text tab, you'd still want to align it around 2-minute buffs anyway. So even if you got it out faster, it would kind of
Yeah.
wasn't matter.
It's most
I don't know,
about
it's weird.
standard, because in
Yeah.
prog playing as a dancer is so tedious. Because
It's true.
it's like you always need to like go into that guide and then pick up that picture again. It's like, oh, what do I do at 2.24? Oh, I hold this and I drift that. Okay, got it. It's like, why not just have it scale with skill speed? It would make it so much easier. At least just standard.
Okay. Happy.
Saber Dance should extend your finishing flourishes, so you don't have to make that stupid decision during your burst window whether or not you want, because you get 3 Saber Dances, I think, and then you won't lose any finishing flourishes. But sometimes you're at 100 gauge, and you didn't expect to have it, so you use it. Now you're at 100 gauge again, and you're like, all right, well, I can't because now I have to use these finishing flourishes because otherwise they go to waste. I'm never going to get them back for the whole fight. Yeah, no, Saber Dance extending your finishing flourishes by like 3 or 5 seconds is probably my biggest thing. Really minor grievance, but still.
They may also update flourish in a sense of, how acceleration works on Red Mage?
Yeah.
Like that, it guarantees the procs for whatever amount of GCDs or OGCDs.
That would
Yeah,
be a
that's
good
fine, too.
balance. A good balance
And-
addition. Yeah.
Something that I would like to see, but I doubt that it'll come. So, right now, if you're a highly optimizing dancer, you would at some time also swap your dance partners, right? And one thing that I loved reading about at the very start when we saw Dancer was the idea of swapping dance partner so that you have standard flourish up twice on 2 targets instead of just 1. That's something that I would actually like to see. And then the end ability working a little bit better. Like right now you're clipping a lot with it, but if that didn't clip and you could just apply it to a person and then after 30 seconds you swap the dance partner, apply it there as well, I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought that was a big thing. A lot of people, we thought that it would work that way, and then, within hours we knew it didn't because we're at the media tour, so like we just had to wait till the presentation was done to test it. But
oh, I forgot we were together there at the media tour testing.
Sure were. You and I.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, when people went places, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
not doing that this time.
Oh, not even a little bit.
Well, that being said, there's a suggestion chat to give Dancer a dot. I would say no, because I kind of like not having a dot.
Yeah, I don't really see a benefit. Honestly, the only dots I really like in the game right now are bards because they're somewhat important. I mean, technically summoners are, but for some reason I'm not a huge fan of the summoner dots.
Does dot really add a complexity level though?
No, that's the problem. That's why I like it on bard, because it's actually like it's at the very least it's an identity that it's always had. It's kind of synonymous with it, and you maintain your dots, and that's a big part of how you access your power.
I think for bard it's a bit different because the dots actually proc stuff.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's interesting.
But
you
for
can make a
dancer,
dot. You just make the dot give you whatever the gauge is called.
Yeah, but then that goes down the route of trying to make them too samey. I think just giving them a dot for the sake of giving them a dot's kind of an issue. It's kind of why a lot of Dark Knights want Scourge back, and I don't really get it, because if you get Scourge back, it's probably just going to be like Sonic Break. Like let's be real about it. It's going to be like once every or Shadowfang once every 60 seconds.
Well,
you do it once, and then that's the end.
I think what people want is like Scourge, where you would reapply it every like 18 seconds or whatever crap it was. I forget how long it was, where you can use it whatever you want.
13.
Like instead of having it on a full whatever long cooldown that they're doing now. I think that was actually a decent amount of the complexity back then. Was like you had to juggle. I mean, I played Ninja in Heaven's Ward, so it was like you had Shadowfang and Mutilate, and then like Shadowfang was on the combo, which was really annoying. So like you had to be juggling like those timers. And then I know a lot of white mages talk about how they had Arrow 3 and Arrow 2, which were on separate timers, so you had to like think about that too.
Yeah, I think unless you have a lot of them, it's not super complex. I guess with Summoner, I guess they've just moved so far away from dots being the identity. Like Bahamut and Phoenix is really the identity now. Maybe that's why I don't feel the same about it. But sorry, Seth, what was that?
Oh, I would just want to say, like, there are two kind of dots, right? The dots that you can reapply whenever you want to, and those dots that basically it just works as a button you press every now and then. Like, it's basically just a cooldown. It's nothing special, just another OGCD. And you get a cool status icon on the boss target. I think the actual dot, that could maybe be interesting, but if it's the new kind of dot, then I don't think it would be adding anything.
Yeah.
What if it's a dot where you had to keep it on like a heal, like you had a regen, and every tick of the regen gives you something bonus? But I mean, it doesn't have to actually heal; it just has to be on something, right?
If Dark Knight got healed by Scourge, I'd like that. That I'm kind of okay with. So
that's fair.
only kind of, but I think that's a more interesting thing, especially if it doesn't have a 60-second cooldown and you can put it on multiple targets.
So do you think they're going to get a new like step, like you know, advanced super step or something where you have to hit 7 things in a row?
I actually do think there is going to be another dance. I think it's going to be 3 steps this time. They're going to hit that in between mark. Yeah. What it does, I have no idea. Maybe they can make that like standard on your non-dance partner or something. Like you cast it on a party member and it's just standard on your non. But then it's pointless. You might as well just make standard. You might as well do what Zeppe said. It's more interesting.
Don't you feel like they would instead just make a trait that makes technical go from 4 to 3 steps and that's it?
Oh my! Okay.
I actually don't think they would do that. Oddly enough, I think they're pretty happy with the way the 2 and 4 step has worked out. Because then you'd probably make standard 1 in that case.
Yeah.
What if they do something like Tenchi Shin from Ninja, where you just dance, and when you're at 2 steps, you do standard, and when you're at 4 steps, you do technical.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I could see them doing that, and then they could add
Yeah.
1 for 3, and then 1
Yeah,
for.
exactly. Right.
You can't move.
Also, speaking of dances, that's probably what they're gonna do to Bart. Maybe, probably. I could see it coming. You know how you dance on Dancer, and now you sing on Bart. It's like you have a GCD that you're doing. It's like, you know, every button you press is like another note.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Never playing it again.
So, chat, if you want to ask any questions, go ahead and ask them now. There are some questions that were submitted, but we already went over it like 50 times, and so I'm not going to go and ask those questions again. But if you guys have some more questions in there, throw them in there. We are getting towards the end part of the show, but there's a few more questions I have. There's at least one more I want to ask you. Should these guys get Healer Limit Break 3 back?
The option would be cool.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I wish I had it.
I mean, that would be support, right? I mean, so to make sure I understand real quick, the physical range is a line that does less damage than the circle magical ranged.
I think they changed that in Shadowbringers. I remember looking at the numbers at the start. Yeah, I remember seeing updated, like, I think it was on Gamer Escape. I'd have to double check. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But they might have fixed. They might have
Made the same
adjusted.
potency?
Yeah, it made them the same potency. I have to double check, but I'm almost positive I've had this discussion before, and that I thought that they did, but they have. Yeah, they just have different ranges.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So one
I have to double check,
and one's a circle.
Fact check me on that. Somebody fact check me on that.
Yeah, I just looked it up on consolegameswiki.com, and that's what it says.
We are sponsored by ConsoleGamesWiki.com. Just to let you guys know, you should all check out their website at console. Well, I mean, the main reason I think it would be interesting is just because they don't have any other. They can't raise like casters can, but you know, having that extra. Oh crap! Our 2 healers are dead. I wish we would have been able to heal our LB3 so we could see more of the fight. It would give them that extra little bonus. I don't know.
Just give Machinist a drill shot, and they just pump them in, and they're back up.
Well, I mean, it just seems kind of pointless to me because you need a physical range and a magical range, and their LB kind of does the same thing. You might as well give them a little bit of variation. I don't know, because it doesn't...
I'm of the opinion we have too many raises in this game as it is, so I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay. Do you think they should take reses away from all the jobs except for healers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I kind of want that, yeah.
Okay.
It would balance out a single Black Mage caster in the proc group.
Yeah, that's...
Because right now, unless if you're like really casual and you don't care, if you take a Black Mage and a single caster comp,
Trolling.
Yeah, it's one of the only like things that's really required for our comp, I think.
Sorry, Sophia. But yeah, no.
So,
go ahead.
And I feel like I'm thinking more about what I said earlier about if you get a melee and they, in some form or another, I don't know how or why, but if they do enforce double melee, they could definitely bump up the damage again of the physical range, because then you can't have 2, right? That's like what they're scared of. They don't want 2 physical ranged again. So if you can in some way enforce 2 melees, so you only have 1 caster, then you also only can have 1 ranged, like 1 physical ranged, and then they can balance it again. I still would like to see that, but
Okay.
maybe people are already too accustomed to double casters.
You know, I don't know how... Maybe they should just introduce a 4th role, a 4th DPS role. You know... Get another
Melee
type
caster.
of melee. Yeah, a melee caster.
Samurai?
On crack.
Yeah.
That's the role.
Yeah, samurai on crack is the role. Yeah. Yeah.
We've got melee and samurai on crack.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then you would have one spot for each one. I mean, they're already doing it with healers, right? They're splitting healers into two, like one spot for a healer for shield or
No,
regen.
they clarified that they're not forcing that. I think they said they're changing the algorithm to try and encourage like Duty Finder to do it that way or Raid Finder, but they're not forcing you. If you want to do,
They're not forcing you not to run with two paladins, right? They're not forcing you not to run with like really horrible decisions, but
they're essentially saying that we already treat the game as such with going one pure, one shield. That's just kind of like the norm, and they're just kind of buying into that and saying like, okay, we're not going to have one pure, one shield, one both. We're just going to let them be what they are now that we have more.
I mean, I'm fine with that, but like in the end, it's already forced. I mean, it was already that way anyways, except for Astra, right? They're like, yeah, I can do both, but
yeah, and there's been plenty of times where you can go into like Raid Finder and get screwed. Like I'm sure if you went in randomly, it would already be a toss up of what you get.
Oh,
so splitting them doing anything. If we use Raid Finder just to queue, like
I forgot Raid Finder exists. Like half the time I forget it exists in the game, but I know it's used on JP servers a lot more.
That's where they go to clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you actually use Raid Finder to clear. It's better than PF sometimes. Yeah.
PF is to practice. Raid Finders for your clears. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you have? Does it make optimal groups for you, or do you run in with two paladins, two white mages?
I don't think you'll ever get like two of the same jobs if it's like an extreme or a savage kind of thing. They will always be different jobs.
Okay. So at least that.
I think it is smarter. I think the Raid Finder itself has a smarter matching system as it is.
Okay. All right. Would you like more chemistry between ranges and other DPS and raids?
What does that mean?
The only thing I can remember is Dragoon and.
Yeah, that's the only other thing you would get is being able to get physical buffs and magic buffs.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing that would possibly do that at all.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I guess like I don't know, just seeing that it works with the other DPS and they already have good chemistry, I guess, right? They buff DP, they have dance partner. That's good chemistry between another
1%
DPS.
1% is a good synergy. 1% is a damn good synergy.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. All right, so it does. Yeah, a lot of these we have answered here. I do want to ask you guys, though. I want to ask everyone here on the show. We've talked about a whole bunch in the last couple hours here. What else? Is there anything that you're thinking of? You're like, man, this is something I would want to talk about on a show like this. Do you have any of that still in your head right now? Do you think that they should introduce like personalized Guitar Hero controllers for people who want to take the extra challenge?
Final Fantasy 14 themed Guitar Hero controllers?
Yeah. No?
I mean, listen. Everyone keeps guessing that we're getting a scythe. I'm guessing we're getting a scythe. Who knows? Maybe they all the shirts had rock bands on them. Maybe the next weapon's a guitar.
Give me a crossbow.
Auto crossbow?
A melee with a guitar.
Doesn't count. I want an actual crossbow. Or give me a Kimbo guns.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, I'll be down for that.
Remove the lunchbox, please. It's so ugly.
Weren't they going to give dancers whips or something?
Yeah, it wasn't whips, but at the beginning of the expansion, they were like, yeah, their weapons aren't chakrams. They're ranged throwing weapons because we want to give them like different ones, and then they just gave them chakrams.
Yeah, they never gave us like. So at this was like, so I'm getting boomerangs, right? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Never got them.
My tomahawks.
Yeah. Everything would have to come back at some point. Well, I guess like throwing a circle and it coming back is kind of goofy already. So I guess throwing a tomahawk and it coming back would be fine too. Just have chains on the tomahawks when you throw them, right? You just like scorpion it in some way and just pull them back. Yeah.
Now I want to see Scorpion with tomahawks. Specifically, Scorpion.
Yeah. The movie's coming out soon. When does that movie come out?
That's a great question.
I forgot about that. Anyways. I mean, there's other things, right? So next weapon that we could, you know what? I guess we could do this. You got 2 to 4 years. What's the next physical range job?
Why would you do this? Ranger. Straight up Ranger. There you go.
That's smart, isn't it?
They're going to give it a crossbow. They're going to give it an actual, just like old school crossbow. Done.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Beastmaster as a limited job. Does that count?
Well, no.
I think
I was thinking about Beastmaster too.
Well, I mean, that's not going to be a physical range, though, right?
Well, I mean, Blue Mage is listed under caster.
What are we talking about? Beastmaster's going to have a whip as a ranged weapon. Yeah, you're right.
Oh no.
Okay.
That's a thing. That's a thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah. You're going to see so many Vieira Beastmasters running around in the starter
Are they
set.
going to be all black leather?
All black leather. Oh.
Do not go to the quicksand.
And then they're going to have, like, we're going to have beast pets, but they're all going to look strangely humanoid.
All right, Frosty, you've taken it to the next level here, and I appreciate that. All right.
Okay.
You want to dig that hole any deeper, or
No, I'm good. I'm fine down
do they
here.
have
I'm fine down
do they
here.
have those things to chomp on at the same time? They got the masks on that have the things over there. Is that next right now?
I mean, it's not far off from what the community would probably want, man. I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what they already want. So yeah,
Oh, jeez. I will repeat this every time. When I was over at the EU Fan Fest and they released Vieira, there's so many people who are happy, and I was just sitting there like, God damn it, because it was just that trailer was like a Victoria's Secret model trailer for Vieira, and I was just like, I knew it, man. I knew how many people were going to be happy with this new job.
Lena looks nothing like that anymore either.
No?
That's Lena's model. That's the same exact appearance that Lena has in the game. She's just, not dressed like that.
Yeah. Anyways, this is physical range, and for some reason we're talking about bunny people.
Yeah, it's a Final Fantasy 14 show.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's true. All right, so we're settling on Beastmaster as the next job, or Ranger, right? Crossbow.
I'm sorry, what I was thinking about the era still. I zoned out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we never get another physical range proper.
You think it's done?
Well, no, it's so hard to tell because the game's so far in its life cycle, but there's not like there's any sign of it stopping, but like thinking past the jobs we have now is a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Especially since they're doing things like Gunbreaker and like it's like we've got things that we can't predict really.
I didn't.
I think.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think adding more jobs adds more maintenance work every time, right? Because you need to have like weapons for every job at the very least. And I think that eventually they'll stop doing that, right? Because WoW stopped adding jobs as well. And I think they're going to transition into just like, next expansion, we're going to get one new job and a limited job. And then the expansion after that, we're going to get no more new jobs and then 2 limited jobs. And and then we'll get limited jobs and then they'll stop making those and then that'll be it.
So I was 90% sure we were getting a new healer and that was it for this expansion. I was really surprised to see that we're getting a melee as well. Another job besides healer.
I thought it was one job as well, because felt like there's so many jobs right now. I don't know how they're going to balance all of it. And now there's, 5 melee?
Yeah.
No!
Make them all the same, yeah. So no, I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 17. I am. I want to see what they do with that. I think I've been ready for it. We've been playing this game for how long now?
I've been playing it for 11 years almost.
Yeah, minus the break you had between A Realm Reborn and 1.0.
Yeah, but it was on my mind, so it's fine. It counts.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But how long has WoW been running for?
Yeah, I don't play WoW anymore.
Isn't that like approaching its 20 years or something?
Yeah.
At some point?
Well, I mean,
Final Fantasy 11 is 20 years old next year in May 2022. It's 20 years old.
If it brings money, then I'm gonna stop working on it.
Well, I mean, why? So let's talk about this. It's a complete tangent here, but why did they go from 11 to 14? Why didn't they just stay on 11?
They saw. So I played 11, and I still log in occasionally, especially for some of the new story stuff they've been doing. From what we can understand, they pretty much saw 11 as dated in a sense. Like 11 was made kind of with like the old EverQuest style, like it was basically Final Fantasy 11 EverQuest, you know, in a sense, or Final Fantasy EverQuest. And then WoW kind of took over, and it was tough past the Ottergon era, which was when it was really at the peak of its popularity. Wings was not doing them any favors or losing players, and they fully intended to transition to something more modern, but not something that was a WoW clone. They wanted to be very different. But they also wanted people who played 11 specifically to move to 14, which is why it has similar looking races and why it had a joint sub for a while. And the game was shit, and they had to completely abandon that idea. And Final Fantasy 11 released another expansion the same year that 14 came out, actually. The Realm Reborn, I think it was in 2013. Might have been later. And now they're still making stuff for it now because they realized that they could just have two different games that represented two different eras of MMO.
Yeah. So
they also mentioned that they mentioned that they intend to graphically overhaul the game after this expansion. So I assume probably when they're dropping PS4 midway,
when they drop PS4
6.3, that they may consider doing it again. We'll see.
I don't know. That's going to be a long time because I don't think the PS4 has any impact on whether or not they do a graphical update, so much so as the actual work that goes into them making a graphical update. Because the PS4 could just have PS4 settings, you know, like the PS3 had PS3 settings.
Well, PS3 was a whole different beast. Entirely.
Yeah, PS3 literally didn't have like It didn't have RAM or like a CPU. Like it was missing an entire
cell processing stuff.
Yeah, self-processing. Yeah, so it literally couldn't do like 99%. The PS4 doesn't have that issue. Yeah. So I think they'll drop it eventually, but I think it's a whiles away.
Okay. All right. I guess we can go ahead and start wrapping everything up. Unless if there's something else you guys want to cover. You know, anything else? No, we're good. All right. Not even gonna give you a chance to respond. We're good. So as we're leaving, I always want to make sure you guys have a second to say any final statements you want to say before we wrap everything up. And it is going to start clockwise again, and not shout outs. We'll do shout outs afterwards. But anything final you want to say about Bard, Machinist, Physical, Ranged, Ranged, and So Happy? If you want to start.
I really hope they don't botch Bard again. That's it. Like Dancer, people can like it or not like it. Machinist, people can not like it or not like it. Bard genuinely needs saving from like a fun standpoint, at least in my opinion. So that's it. I end the show with please Endwalker. Let Bards be not just
boring.
This show again. We don't have to do this show in the same way again, please.
Okay. Zeppe?
I think there are some really good forum posts. One example is probably from Satonis, but I don't know if it was on the forum. I think it's on the forum. That goes very in-depth into how to properly fix Bard. If you want to have a read, take that. If the developers read that, it would already be very, very good. And in the end, when it comes to Proc, play whatever you like. It's fine. The impact is not that big. And Social Experiment, Pranged gone wrong.
What? Pranged gone wrong. Okay.
Yeah, Pranged gone wrong.
All right. And Stal, I know it's your birthday, so I should have let you go first or something.
It's not my birthday.
Happy birthday,
It's
Stal.
Now like
birthday.
20,000.
It's just no, it's just a chat thing. They keep saying it's my birthday.
Chat doesn't lie about this stuff.
Listen, somebody has to get the happy birthday meme. Yeah, Oryza's face was what I was refraining from. Because we don't have Akmorn anymore. She doesn't work at Square Enix, and she was the happy birthday meme. So you've now inherited it.
Even
would never lie.
Anonymous is here.
Oh,
He
that's-
gave 50 subs.
Who?
It's not my birthday.
Anon was wishing you happy birthday? What the fuck?
They've been doing this for a whole month now. Every single time I stream.
Not birthday. Come on.
Wow, I'm gonna bring you on every fucking show, Stal. Wow. All
Yeah.
right. Oh, there
cake.
you go. You can't fight it anymore. Holy
There
shit.
you
Well, thanks,
That's not going to
Anonymous.
help. Now it's going to happen for another month. You know?
Yeah.
Thanks, chat.
Yeah, holy shit. All right, Stal, anything else you want to talk about Brain Steer? Last words?
Bowmage is the best rendition of Bart, and I hope they fix Bart in 6.0.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in pain. Expression has
Watching your smiling avatar say that with a birthday cake in front of her.
I'm in
It's
pain.
I ran out of money. Okay, I wanted to get a sad expression, but I
No,
ran
it's
out
way
of
better
money.
this way. It's so much better this way.
I'm in pain.
Oh, there's the
Rage
dark.
has been terrible. I really hope they fix it in 6.0.
You just need to get the whole setup with the facial stuff, like all the different, like you have to spend like an hour, like 3 hours putting on all the stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, Oryza, what would get you to play Pranged again?
Oh, I probably wouldn't. I mean, they'd have to like delete healers or something.
Oh,
But what I want to say is like, oh my god, what I want to say is like, I can't wait to see you all in 2 years when we come back and we're like, I miss Shadowbringer's Bard. I can't believe Ben Walker Bard is. They made it even worse. So
wow.
I like that you followed up with, I'll never play this role again, but I'll see you guys later. I'll be on the show in 2 years.
Yeah. Fair.
What's your prediction? What job is going to be that one guy, right? That's going to be like, I miss 5.0. What do you think?
Of us?
Of
Yeah.
all the jobs, one job, who is the one?
Oh, I thought you meant of us specifically.
No, of all jobs. What do you think?
I think it's gonna be Barney. Somehow Bard will miss 5.0 Bard.
Oh. Oh my god, that would be so horrible. I don't. It's gonna be Dancer. Dancer's gonna be changed up, and people aren't gonna like it anymore. I know it's gonna happen. Astro probably.
Oh yeah, the Astro show after 6.0.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Gonna be a
boy.
banger.
yeah. Well, we gotta have the healer show before to predict everything, and then a healer show afterwards to be why we're so upset they didn't take our predictions. So, anyway,
Make sure
You should invite
when you do
Stal.
that, make sure you take clips, and then when it's the same people, you show the clip of them saying something, and it's like either totally wrong or it's totally right.
yeah.
Make them comment. on
Yeah,
it.
I'll say, remember when you said this? Do you feel stupid now, motherfucker?
Don't worry, I've been down that road before.
I remember, real quick tangent, when before Heavensward came out, we had Sly on the show. And we were talking about the story, and we're like, hey, do you think those guys are dead? And he was like, they dead. They're so dead.
Whoa,
We
wait,
really
wait,
wanted to believe they were dead.
Wait,
We
spoiler,
really-
Frosty. I just killed Garuda.
Just killed Garuda. That's the last cutscene you watched? Is Garuda
Yeah.
still okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm still.
You know, I just said those guys, you don't know. You don't know who I'm talking about.
Okay, true.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
Yeah. It's okay, I know no one actually dies.
Yeah. Again, thanks Anonymous. I usually don't. I try to keep away from the sub stuff, but that's kind of ridiculous right now. Like at least on MogTalk I do, but yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Let's do our goodbyes here and wrap it up before they could be too more crazy with this. Mr. Happy, what's your last words? What do you want to say? Where people can find you, sell yourself, all that good stuff.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Happy, and you can find me posting way too many food pictures in the past couple of weeks on Twitter and Instagram and on YouTube. And I have a podcast as well. We haven't done one in the last 4 weeks because
Really?
what am I going to do it on right now? Like I've beaten every topic into submit. I mean, you know what that's like to go on long
know.
breaks, like not doing a podcast.
I
because
came
it's
on
like,
the show with a cat costume and talked about glamour. I mean, I feel you, dude.
Yeah. So we agreed we just were never going to be like that. We specifically saw that and said, "Fly, we're never doing that.
We're never gonna go to Frosty's level of
We're
desperation.
never going to. I would rather do nothing than ever do that." So, but we will be back next week for the live letter.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there'll be live letter, pre-patch notes, the earlier ones, then spoiler cast and all that stuff. Plus, the expansion stuff is in the middle of May. So I think both podcasts will be quite busy over the course of the next couple of months until we're not in the pre-expansion lull, and then we will be again, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. I will say you should have a Monster Hunter show.
Why? I played World for like 3 weeks, then didn't touch any post-game DLC other than Behemoth because of the collaboration.
Well, just at least a one shot on Wrap.
Yeah, Sly would like that because Sly is a super, super Monster Hunter fan. He's a big Capcom fan.
Yeah.
In general, he'll probably want to do it. He'll probably want to do a little bit on that. And then after this, I'm going to go play Monster Hunter. Actually, I got to go cook after this, but then I'm going to play Monster.
Same for me. All right, Zepp, you want to do your shout outs and everything? And there's nowhere anyone can find you anywhere, right? You're just like invisible.
You can find me on Twitter or Twitch, but I don't really stream that much. It's very rare. I guess shout out to all the cool people that came here and chatted here. Shout out to my raid group, and shout out to the important theory crafters for the physical ranged. And if they see it, shout out to that person that comes out of nowhere on new expansions and saves physical ranged every expansion. Thank you. We all know who it is.
Is it 889 or 899?
899.
899. All right. But yeah, no. You're talking about the one person on the Square Enix team that saves physical range, right?
No.
Oh. Who are you talking about?
There's one person that appears out of nowhere on an expansion and then saves the theory crafting for physical range.
Oh, okay.
Because there's all the fancy things and openers to do.
A hidden mystery player.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's do Stal. Stal, your shout-outs and everything else?
Yes. How do I do a shout-out? I don't know. Shout-out to all my prog groups. And my 6.0 group, my chat, my mods.
Thanks, Stal.
And Area Q, and... yeah, and Ori, and thanks Frosty for carrying us.
Where can people find you, Stal?
Twitch.tv/Stal, probably, yeah.
Probably.
Watch this in with me.
Oh, get that shit off the screen.
Sorry.
What the fuck? Alright, hold on. Let me kill this real quick.
Really bothered me that the poster's not level.
Yeah, let's do this. There we go. We're good. I fixed it.
creation.
We're fine. We're fine.
No. Why am I there?
This is Stal's. This is Stal's room. It's snow,
I've
trees,
duplicated.
the ground, a cake, DG water, and that poster, and nothing else.
Oh, all right. Oryza, your shout-outs and anything else you want to say?
Thanks, Frosty, for letting me invite myself as a physical range man to
Yeah.
this show. I think it's very good. But yeah, I don't know.
Where can people
thanks for
find
having me
you?
on. That was cool. Oh, I have a Twitch channel, and I'm also on Twitter and YouTube, and all my things are Rise of Mercury. Can I just put the links in chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, follow Ori, so when we make a bad prog strat, it's gonna be called Ori strat.
No, I'm pretty sure.
We're already we're Stal's group, so it's Stal's
Yeah.
Let me tell you, don't post your day one kill videos and then wake up and have everyone hate you. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. Trust me.
That was so ridiculous. People were really mad. I was like, "What? Why?" Like,
I can't believe I woke up. I saw 44,000 views. I said, "No."
Let's do the happy strat. Let's do the happy brambles.
Happy Brambles.
Happy Brambles.
Wasn't supposed to happen like this. No.
Oh, all right. You guys have all been fantastic. This has been a really, really fun show. I appreciate everybody coming on. And, Mike coming on like within 24 hours notice. Oryza, basically 24 hours notice as well. And Stal for suggesting Oryza to come on as well. And Zeppe, I think Zeppe and Stal for sticking to the show when I first came up with it earlier in the week. So thank you guys for coming on. You're all fantastic. But I feel like I want to see more VTubers on this show. So Stal, maybe every time that we have a show, we're gonna have you come on. And you'll just be in the background. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Zeppe
Get up
should
at-
be a VTuber.
Yeah, Zeppe, you should be a VTuber.
Yeah.
Oh dear God. Sure, if you explain me how.
It's easy. It's easy. I mean, you can't be like
Frothy,
a good
you should be a
VTuber.
VTuber.
I mean, I have face rig. I can pull up face rig real quick and become a raccoon or whatever, but
I'll be honest, I have zero idea about it, but maybe.
okay.
I already have a VR headset, I have a VR avatar, maybe.
I want Frosty as a raccoon.
No, you know
Get a
what?
snowman one, Frosty. Just get a snowman. You're done.
I could, but that'd be too on point, I think. So in Monster Hunter, real quick, my name's Frosty, my pet's name's Little Frosty, and then my cat's Snowflake. I'm pretty original.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's Happy, Aloha, and Aloha's enemy, which is the dog.
Perfect.
I get it, because never mind.
Yeah, dogs hate cats, right?
No, I was saying perfect because of the cats, but you know.
All right, we're wrapping this show up, guys. We're done. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. You've all been amazing. I gotta thank my wife, Kerr, for being amazing and putting up with me doing this every single weekend. Thank you, Andre Kane, for the intro and the closing music that we use in the show. And thank you to all the mods chats. And we do have a special thank you to Patreon supporters, which we have a small video thanking them here in just a second, as well as the credits. Then we will be hosting somebody. You guys have all been amazing. Remember, be good, keep cool, stay frosty. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Everybody say bye, goddammit.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Fun as Physical range this week. I want to take a moment to, of course, thank our super high tier Patreon supporters that help make this show happen, which is Dude It's Antonio, Tagalong, Nimic from Ock Morning, a great PvE website for raiding and anything else that you would need. Super Miyu from Teamcraft, a wonderful crafting website. Nami, awesome supporter of the show, has been watching for a long time. And then Uni from Phase Temperance, which is an organization that's helping make a lot of PvE events out there for raiders. We actually have one coming up soon, in just a couple weeks, for Helmo Ultimate. That being said, of course, there's no need to support the show on Patreon. It's just appreciated for everyone that does. And of course, these guys spend enough money for me to put their name on a video, so that's why we're here. If you'd like to check it out, please just check out the Patreon page and do !Patreon. That being said, I appreciate everybody who watches the show. Whether you just tune in, watch for 5 minutes and leave, or on the high tier Patreon and watch excessively. It all means a lot to me. You guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and be good, keep cool, stay frosty. Bye.